All right, chat. Welcome in. Welcome in. Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals about to fire up. I can't even promise good games anymore. It doesn't even matter. The Thunder are up on the series 2-0, and the Pacers as well too, up in their series 2-0. The realization of kind of what the finals matchup is going to be, of course, with those aforementioned teams, Thunder Pacers, and the Thunder just staring down a potential ring. Chat. Shea got the MVP. It all seemed like it's, kind of finally forming into place. And, there has been, of course, the talk about the parity in the as we kind of have mentioned as well, the fact that there haven't been the back-to-back champions, the teams haven't been making the playoff runs the last couple years, like this weird competitive balance flip-floppy thing that's going on with all the title teams right now. But it does also feel like as well too that some of the seasons, like, that also did mean that our knowing of the title kind of went all the way down to sort of the little bit. Like last year, I think Boston, we looked at the Eastern Conference, we said, okay, they're definitely the best team in the East. They're still technically unproven in terms of winning the title at that point last year. They had been in the finals, of course, but we looked at the East and said they should definitely go through the East. They should definitely have a pretty good finals match with the way the West was forming out there as well too, and just the records of them in Dallas, and then Dallas as well too, some of the injuries. Like it played out, like it did seem like Boston was going to win the finals there, and then especially after game 1, the Porzingis stuff, it was like, oh man, they kind of don't really have a counter for that, and if that's going to be there, then they're just kind of going to be screwed for this series. So like maybe you could say that if you were being realistic about it and not delusional, like game 1 of the finals, at least for me, that's the moment that stands out as like, oh yeah, Boston's gonna win this thing. Because again, you can overreact to game 1, but it's like they can't really counter this Porzingis thing outside of Porzingis gets hurt, and he did have the injury stuff there as well too, but it didn't matter at that point. You snag a couple of games in the series. The 2-0 thing, of course, Chad, I mean, the math is the math. It's a difficult thing to overshadow. Do I have the right sound on right now? Do I have the game, or do I have the we were throwing up the second TV in the background, chat, and Pluto, they always know how to rope us in. I'm always like, what's the next, cycle of rotate Pluto and Tubi, chat? What are these next movies? Like Tubi right now, I'm scrolling through Tubi these days, and everything's like expiring in a week, and it's like, oh, what's Tubi gonna look like in June, chat? Is it gonna be the same Tubi that we all know and love? Is something happening now with the notoriety, and maybe people are stealing their movies? Who knows? But Pluto, you get a movie like Sleepless. I'm like, wait, has this been on there? Is this a new edition? But the 2017 Jamie Foxx, Dermot Mulroney, Michelle, what's the last name, chat? Monahan? What do you guys know? Michelle Moynihan, I think is how you say the last name. I mean, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But if I'm not getting the pronunciation right, my bad. But iconic stuff. Who knows, chat? Maybe those characters will find themselves, those actors will find themselves in one of our own Tubi originals at some point. Obviously, we pitched a Tubi original last week. Rosario Dawson, Scoot Henderson, chat. Need I say more? That's the star character. Who else do we have in there? Lawrence Fishburne? Hey, yo, chat. Lawrence Fishburne. Best supporting actor noms? We'd have to see. And I forgot Harbour was in this movie as well too. David Harbour? No, David Harbour, chat. Shout out, of course. These days, fresh off a Thunderbolts appearance. But back in 2017, he was like, Sleepless is the movie. And Jamie Foxx as well too, the star character. I can't believe we haven't mentioned it. We're not turning this into a Sleepless rewatch. But this is definitely one of the sleepers, chat, that we're like, okay, keep this in the list at some point. I haven't seen this movie in forever. That's why I was ready to throw it back. I was like, hey, yo, chat, ready to do what? Ready to throw it on the TV. Ready to play it on the TV. But yeah, classic. At some point, you just get a movie with enough people in it that you enjoy watching in movies. And it's like, okay, the baseline for that's going to be pretty difficult to overcome from an entertainment value. I mean, Jamie Foxx just in a movie. It's like, okay, we're starting with 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, so it can't be bad. But this one, starting 4-for-4, chat. Minnesota back at home. The line, -3, whatever. Oh, wait a second. Here we go. I guess we were checking. No MMA to throw on in the background right now, chat. Next week, we get a fight night, but Not right now. PFL earlier, so do we need to go check the score for the PFL Europe? Oh, regular season chat in Paris? I mean, shout out, but is it the regular season? You know, we'll tune in the playoffs. Maybe. O'Malley fighting Marab chat? Fight 2? Usman versus Buckley? Usman in a fight night? Usman versus Buckley in a fight night? Chat, we might have to do a watch party for that. That's kind of crazy. That's a decent fight night there. I mean, you know, obviously, MMA, UFC's known to have some good fight nights, but some legendary guys. I mean, Buckley's fun. Obviously, Usman, maybe different phase of his career, but yeah, Buckley a little bit definitely on the age side of things. 31 has the advantage. Usman's 38. Okay, so at least there is that, chat, for if something happens. If something happens, 3-round fight. I'm trying to remember. I think his last fight, or one of the last fights that we watched, I guess maybe the last fight that we watched live, he was kind of near the end of the third round there, starting to turn the fight around. And it was like, oh, if this was fine, was that against Hamzat maybe? And it was like, oh, if this was a little bit, you know, the fight went 5 rounds, you know, maybe the stamina of it would matter. But who knows, you know, of course. Hamzat just a better player, or better fighter, chat. At this point, you know, I guess more in his prime, we should say, than Usman. Healthier maybe, but I think he's also got injury stuff as well too that he's been battling. Health stuff maybe even more as well. Randall in the corner for 3, chat. Not able to get it to go. Do we need to pull up the Randall shot chart for the last game? I felt like he settled for some 3s there. Maybe in the second half, you know, the game starts spiraling out of control. Hartenstein, the turnover. Maybe you get the calls in Minnesota. Oh, chat. Spoiler alert. ESPN right now. Okay, we're checking in. They're a full minute ahead. They are a full minute ahead. So we might have to, I don't know, figure out an alternate in a little bit. Pull up a sleepless graphic in the background. I don't know who this guy is, chat. He's the one of these side character villain guys. He's not Walter Goggins. I guess we could just look it up, but he could play the Walter Goggins biopic. He could play Walter Goggins in the biopic. Edwards in transition, chat. The dunk. Okay, so Edwards just hit the 3 and then the dunk. A little Edwards takeover at home. Here we go, chat. Here we go. At least there would be some hope. That's all Minnesota fans want in Game 4, the hope. I mean, Game 4, I think, is a really nervous type game because you think about, like, I mean, and what would an underdog have to be confident as well, too, in a Game 4 down 2-1 against the team that's the higher seed? Like, the math is still working out. But, again, we all know how these teams can match up going into these playoff series. And you have Edwards down 2-1, your home court. If Randall can play well in this game, I mean, I think that's really what it is. Obviously, if OKC up 2-0 in the series plays bad, chat, then, you know, again, the nerves are definitely going to be at an all-time high for Game 4. But there is still a recipe for them to play well. Randall with the mismatch. He gets Shea on him. Oh, Shea with the quick hands, chat. He gets the steal. Conley back out for 3. You got to make that, Conley. Mike Conley, you got to make that. Oh. I mean, he's not, again, necessarily you know, wouldn't call him, I was going to say, J.R. Smith, chat. Like, who's a guy? But who's a three-point shooter? Nick Young, we wouldn't necessarily call him Swaggy P, but still open for 3, that open. Just your veteran status. At some point, somebody's got to be like, okay, I've got to go up 2 or 3 levels here and just power through. He's 41% on the year, chat. We doubted Mike Conley. What's the nickname? Money Mike? Mountain Mike? Bite Conley. Mountain Mike's kind of funny, though. Money Mike Conley. I feel like we can do better with the Mike Conley nicknames, chat. Money Mike. I feel like Money is just one of those, like, it's just easy. It's an easy money nickname, chat. Easy Money Sniper. It is, though. It's just kind of a generic nickname. There's nothing really to it. But he is Money, so it's not wrong. It's just, I feel like there is a more creative nickname for Mike Conley. Do we need to do, I mean, again, yeah, hey, yo, chat, but do we have like a Chat GPT nickname cook-up session for some of these NBA players and see if we can get Basketball Reference to update these pages? Maybe some guys without the nicknames. Or just even sometimes as well too, just a nickname police on Basketball Reference. Hey yo, chat. But sometimes some of the like Wemby. Okay, so he is updated as well. They're getting their chat. Wemby, the extraterrestrial, Vic, the alien. I guess sometimes they go the other way as well too, where you're like, wait, 17 nicknames I've never heard of. Like I think Jerry West big nickname guy, chat. Oh, a little bit. Mr. Clutch, Zeke from Cabin Creek, the logo. Cabin Creek Comet, Tweety Bird, and Mr. Outside. Mr. Outside. I don't really know what that means, chat, but Zeke from Cabin Creek or Cabin Creek Comet. So, obviously, Cabin Creek, West Virginia, chat. I guess born in 1938, so that is a little, just kind of on the border of modern history there, chat. Like, it is weird to think basketball. Because, like, you think Cabin Creek, that's almost got, like, a frontier vibe to it. Where, Jerry West is going to be out there, like, hunting, going for pelts and stuff. Like, Jerry West in The Revenant, almost. But Jerry West, like, they don't have basketball in The Revenant, do they? I don't know when. Maybe The Revenant takes place a little. Chat, I've never seen The Revenant. I like a good time in a movie. The Revenant, to me, is just not... Does not sound like a good time, but maybe at some point, we'll get it on the TV at some point. Revenant, maybe? Revenant movie? I guess we could just go to Leo's page as well, too, and look it up. Oh, we might have to do that way, chat. Let's see. I guess shout out to Leo. You think he would be one of the first Leos that pops up, chat? But no. Oh, I guess Leonardo. Oh, I guess DiCaprio, not DiCaprio. Is there any DiCaprios out there? Okay, wait. So his movies. Where's his at? Filmography. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to go a separate page, chat. It was probably one of those quick ones mentioned there. But The Revenant. Oh, The Revenant. See, Wikipedia, chat. Just get the search engine to just be a little more relaxed. It might be better. So yeah, what year is this set in? 1823, which is based on a poem in 1915. So yeah, in 1915, I mean, the legend of Hugh Glass, I guess, was already in existence. So 1823. So yeah, I mean, Zeke from Cabin Creek sounds like a more frontier style nickname, I guess. Back in the day, I guess, always sketchy to go back in history as well, too. And, we don't just want to put Jerry West in the 1800s. Like, Jerry West seemed like he was a good guy, chat. But, again, just the sound of the nickname. Sort of stories like this that you hear, maybe. But, yeah, Minnesota. I don't know. Jerry West inspired. Jerry West he never worked for he worked for the Grizzlies, chat, not the Timberwolves. Speaking of the front, he worked for some animal associated. I guess that would be a lot of teams, but specifically Wolves and Grizzlies, because obviously birds, they're pretty versatile. You find birds in a lot of environments, like hawks and stuff. Chat. What other? I guess thunder is pretty versatile as well too. There's a lot of thunder all over the world, that's for sure. But hey, yo, chat. Now are we getting political? But again, just in terms of the Timberwolves Grizzlies, very similar teams there. But yeah, no, he was on the Grizzlies when they were going for the number 2. They got the number 2 pick in one of those drafts. One year they could have got the number 1 pick and didn't. But was he? Because the Pistons got the number 2 pick, obviously, in the LeBron lottery. Do we need to go? Okay, Grizzlies rabbit hole, chat. Hey, yo, hot start. It is what it is. I guess Jerry West's executive career. Where's his executive career on here, chat? Are we going to have to go Jerry West, the GM? Or was he? Because, he bounced around basketball president in various roles like that. So I don't know if it would be listed on a basketball reference page. Yeah, Memphis 0203, chat. 28 and 45. Hubie Brown taking over. Okay, that's... I would assume that they have it listed in the order that they coached in, right? Sidney Lowe, 8 games. I guess we could look. Previous season, was it Hubie Brown before? Okay, it was Sidney Lowe to Hubie Brown. Shout out Hubie Brown. You bring in the the veteran presence to stabilize everything, right, chat? To make sure you get the number 2 pick in the draft. But then what happened? Okay, next season, 50-32, Hubie Brown, Jerry West, turning over things right away. I guess was that Pau Gasol's emergence year? So who was a rookie on this team? Theron Smith, Dante Jones, Troy Bell. See, did they make a trade that I'm not forgetting? I know there's a Jerry West lottery moment, but was it in this lottery? Okay, so wait, this is we're in that next year. It would have been the previous year. 13 pick drafted Marcus Banks. Oh, was it a protection, chat? Is that what it was? I think maybe that's what it was. I think the pick might have been protected by maybe the Pistons, maybe one of the other teams. But if it had landed at maybe the number 1 pick, LeBron would have gone to the Grizzlies. So shout out to the Grizzlies, but that was not going to happen because especially in 02-03, I mean, they're not so far removed from Vancouver, right, Chad? I mean, yeah, they're literally right removed from Vancouver. So I don't, we could go into the Wikipedia and go like, what was the timeline of events that happened with them in Vancouver? But we know not necessarily great. And if you look at the records, I mean, 8-42, Chad. I think is that the lockout season? But 16%, is that the worst of? I mean, they got a 17 and 18 in here. What was Philly that one year when they tanked all their but they were who's the GM? Chad Hinkie. They were actually trying to be bad that year. That was his master plan. So I don't know if the Grizzlies were trying to leave Vancouver. Maybe they were. Maybe that's part of the controversy of it all. But that one year they were 12%, chat. 10-72. Holy moly, chat. Brett Brown, and Brett Brown was there for a minute. Maybe the Jason Garrett of head coaches, though I think Jason Garrett even had a couple more years. And maybe, credit to Jason Garrett, actually won some stuff as well too. Barely, but did have I think he probably does have a winning record as a head coach. But yeah, 10-72 is crazy, but also 8-40 whatever is not too far off, Chad. 8-42, yeah, 16%. So I guess they're playing 50 games that year, another 30 games. I can't do math, but they're gonna only they're winning mid-teens, Chad. I guess at 17%, they're at 14 games. So maybe 13-69. Ayo, Chad. But yeah, I guess we'd have to go really Google that and figure. I guess there is probably a Wikipedia page on the lottery itself. That one being or just the draft. Maybe it's part of the draft process, of course. But yeah, Chad. Shout out to Jerry West, R.I.P. The legend, the Zeke himself, I guess. But Minnesota, hey yo, Chad, Minnesota. Oh, we got a buffer right now on the TV. Sleepless is powering through right now. Jamie Foxx. 34 on the Metascore. It doesn't matter. It just keeps playing. But we're getting live stream issues on the game right now. Okay, we're back. Anthony Edwards hounded by Caruso. DeCase and Wallace not able to get a lot. He does, of course, with his dribble sometimes not move forward. It's just like Anthony Edwards. Just attack, go. The dribble move, break down the guy at the top of the key 6 times. That's what we do at the park, chat. That's our move. That's not professional NBA player. That's that's maybe in the Tatum package a little bit as well too. You're like, Tatum, just go, just make a move. You got it. The point of dribbling is to get from point A to point B. So Edwards, as great. I mean, again, it's the greatness of these Minnesota or the Oklahoma City defenders. Randall just put Hartenstein on the ground. Chad, I got stumbling over my words there because I was Randall with the little jab step crossover. The closed captions were they protected Hartenstein from us fully seeing if he actually got crossed over there. But I think that jab step really threw him off balance. Randall, unfortunately, not able to convert the 3 though. So now we're in that point in the first quarter. So yeah, this would be the change into that Caruso lineup, Chad. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see, of course, just how. I mean, game 1 you would assume that game 1 of the finals we're chalking it up, Chad. But again, the problem is 24-9. This is just such a dramatic start. We've seen Minnesota. I mean, you would assume that OKC is going to make a push even here at some point tonight. But if this game continues, OKC 1 for 6, they're due for at least one or two kind of off 3-point shooting nights over the course of a game. If Caruso's missing a 3, chat, they might be cooked tonight. It is what it is. So, like we were saying, it's Minnesota, even this series back up at home, but I don't know. I almost would want to see them win a close game almost, and see Edwards have the star power moment, and see him have to, really, I don't, what's the right term? Buckle up or whatever. But, just really have to lock in for those last, I guess that's the term. Really have to lock in for those last couple of minutes and just go toe to toe with Shea and prove that he is better and not have the game where it's like, okay, they get the comfortable lead. Again, OKC has 2-0 on the series, so it's going to change the dynamics of this game a little bit as well, too, compared to if this game OKC would have to fight a little bit more. But still, I'd almost want to see Minnesota have to prove themselves at a win versus OKC versus just the dramatic performance like this as well. But again, Edwards attacking here has slowed down the scoring a little bit. Just OKC hasn't been able to convert a 3 on the other end. Edwards, tough 3, chat. Not able to get it to go. So here we go. Yeah, the Shea, Chet, Caruso, Isaiah Joe, and then Cason Wallace, who we haven't really heard from this playoffs this much. Shout out. We're definitely very pro Isaiah Joe on this pod. So, I mean, he's a watch list guy, chat. He is a watch list guy that if OKC wants to get a little bit frisky in the offseason, they're not going to be dramatic because the depth is there. Like, yeah, Isaiah Joe, their 10th man. Oh, Gobert, the steal on Shea. Shea fouls him in transition. Gobert not able to get the layup, but Gobert out at half court defending Shea. 4-time defensive player of the year. Finally proven something in the playoffs, shit. Hey, yo, he finally I feel like finally a defensive highlight almost. It would have been a little bit more of a highlight. Oh, Sprite has a T? But I feel like that would have been more of a defensive highlight if he would have got the transition bucket as well too. But definitely a great steal by Gobert. I'm trying to think, has he gotten like a block? See, the problem is with the free throw shooting and some of the offense, he's not on the court for the end of games. So some of the moments were just by him even just having a quote unquote normal block with like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter or something like that. Like maybe it's just my bad, Rudy Gobert for not remembering those moments. But this is gonna be, it's like, what's the number one Rudy Gobert defense? Oh yeah, he had a steal on Shea once at half court on a playoff game. That was kind of cool, but they lost that series in 5. So what do you do? But now OKC, chat, back the other way. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the game. He's been good this year. Oh, Gobert's flying around now. Cason Wallace didn't even pump fake, and Gobert was just jumping for the 3-pointer. I mean, Cason Wallace is literally the shortest guy on the court. He's probably the one guy that you would just be like, okay, if you could block a 3-pointer with not having to jump, it might be him. So he's not probably going to attack off the dribble either, so that's not too bad. But it's going to open up the passing lane as well. But doubling him up, chat, here in the first quarter is okay. But that first quarter in game 1, let's go back and look at that. I know it wasn't quite as dramatic as this, but I think there was one where they dominated pretty good. Let's see here. If we can get a load. Okay, 23-20. And then OKC, I guess, dominated the third. So I guess them just winning by 3 points really stood out as their best quarter performance so far in a game. Maybe game 1, maybe first quarter game 2. Maybe we're getting it mixed up here. Let's see. They lost by 4, chat. So yeah, good. Obviously, best first quarter performance so far. But did they have a lead in this first quarter? What happened? What am I remembering, chat? Just, oh yeah, they were up like 11-0 or so. They had a good start there for like the first couple of minutes of that first quarter, I guess. Maybe they took a little bit more lead in the second as well too. I don't know if we have to go through the game flow on that or not. But yeah, I don't trust them. I don't trust it, chat. I don't trust it. OKC, I don't know what their record is in the comebacks this year. Pause, but because again they've been so dominant as well too. It's not like they've had a ton of games where they've been down, but Maybe a couple in this playoffs as well too. You know, there's been some performance. The Nuggets got him on a good one there. Okay, what are we going for, chat? Here, game 3. Here we go. Get back on the live score. But yeah, do we need to go Isaiah Joe contract look, chat? I don't know what the move would be. I don't know if a team just starts going, hey, can we get just Isaiah Joe? Like Sam Presti's always down for a pick, so you start thinking. Again, I think Isaiah Joe is on a contract. I don't think he's on a big contract necessarily, but he's not on a minimum or a rookie deal. Like, you know, he's a little bit, maybe like 10 million for our guy Isaiah Joe. So, 12, Chad. Hey, yo. 4 years, 48, 4 years, 12. He might be a piece, Chad. He might be a piece. I still got hope. I don't know if I'm not even going to look up his playoff numbers. It doesn't matter. 12 million a year. The salary cap's going up. It's fine. You need to have those guys to trade as well too. He's only, you know, what's his age here, Chad? He can't be 25. 25, yeah. 25 right now. Almost, he'll be 26 this summer. I was going to say 26, but I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, another year, I guess. But you know, he's entering the peak of his powers. Entering the peak of his powers, making $12 million a year. Like, I don't know if he's quite Peyton Pritchard level, but still, you think he could give you a little bit more offense, maybe? Maybe if he got the increased role some, I don't know, you know, again, you're trading to bring him in to increase your role, but it's like, hey, if we need depth, like, you know, Golden State, I don't know, chat. I don't know who they give up to bring in Isaiah Joe. Does OKC just start giving off their bench pieces to teams to start bolstering the competition? I don't know if that happens either, but he could be he's just a guy I want to see if he's potentially got a little bit more to contribute in a playoff series somewhere. But he's getting some good run tonight. So maybe with the lead getting out of control, maybe they're like, we'll give Isaiah Joe some minutes. Chet attacking Gobert. So that might be what it has to be here a little bit, chat. Chet taking Gobert off the dribble. I mean, I guess anybody taking Gobert off the dribble. But now would be a good time to see Naz Reid make some three-pointers as well, too. Get Minnesota back on track. Because, again, as we look, 30 points is their best individual score performance. But OKC as well, too. I mean, 14 points, chat, is pretty disastrous. I guess OKC, in terms of the high-end and low-end performances, they've had, obviously, some of the most dominant wins with that 50-point win earlier in the playoffs. And then, you know, a Game 7 victory over OKC or over Denver, over the best player in the league, is a very impressive playoff performance, you know, notch in the belt, I guess, to have as well, too. Edwards at the end of the quarter for 3, chat. There we go. What's Edwards in this first quarter here? I feel like definitely it'll be a decent number. I don't know. Will the efficiency be good? Hopefully, chat. He did have a couple of misses there in the middle, but what do you do? He's not perfect, obviously. 6 for 8. Okay, yeah, those were the only couple of misses. We don't want to judge him too harshly. But I'm nervous, chat. I'm nervous. You look at it and you go, okay, it's getting out. I guess it is almost 20 at this point. 19. Still 19? And Shea has one more shot? Wait, what's happening? The clock is stopped at 4.2 on the ESPN, obviously. But, yeah, 15 points for Edwards in the first quarter. So this is honestly what we want, but I guess I'm nervous, chat. Randall's 0 for 2 from 3. 2 3-pointers in the first quarter is a little... Oh, so the first quarter goes final. They don't get a shot off yet, I guess. Minnesota got the ball back here. But, what were we saying? Oh, yeah, Randall, two threes a quarter is a little much. If he's 0 for 8 in the game, that's obviously aggressive. But, yeah, I guess if he's 4 for 8, we're going to be like, oh, Randall, chat, was on fire. So, you know, it's just us playing the results, of course. But, again, I think you want him to start taking the threes if he's heat checky a little bit. Maybe attack a little bit, get some of those early buckets to get some momentum. Get some fouls. I think Randall can be a foul merchant. Foul merchant is working right now, and it's trendy. It's in, and I think you got to get it in. You got to play the trends. So I think honestly, though, speaking of trends, chat, do we need to make trends of just more movies taking place in the AO chat, but in the penthouse of a Vegas like hotel? Like we're getting a fight scene right now. So, you know, Jamie Foxx versus Michelle chat, taking him down. Hey, yo, what are we talking about? We're talking about this movie. But, oh, that's right. She's investigating him. She's internal affairs, chat. Hey, yo, Michelle. But I don't know. There was a lot of Jamie Foxx stuffing some white powder in a bag earlier. I think he's going after. I think his son gets kidnapped, chat. I think I've only seen this movie one time, but it was really good. I really liked it when it happened, but it doesn't necessarily have the. I think I've maybe seen it a couple times, but it doesn't have a great streaming run. But it did have a little bit of a cable run there. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe a TNT run for a minute. I don't know. It's a fun action movie, chat. Like I'm saying, fun people, fun runtime as well too. I mean, chat, fun cast and a good runtime. It's like we complain about story and we want originality in filmmaking. But it's like at the end of the day, this is the two things I gravitate toward. Is this 90 minutes and doesn't have Denzel Washington in it? And it's like, okay, I'll probably just watch it at the end of the day. I can't make a decision, so that's what I'm gonna just have happen. But today, actually, I went the other way. I was like, okay, we got a little project to work on here. Like, is there something that can just occupy the screen in the background for the next couple hours? I was like, oh, chat, I think Heat's on Netflix right now. We got, okay, TV occupied for the next 3 hours, chat. Just Heat in the background. Because it's just art, chat. Like, some people have paintings in the background. You know, they have art or posters or whatever. I've got live art. It's just a muted TV. It's called Heat. It's Michael Mann's 1995 art piece, Heat, featuring Robert De Niro, Albert Pacino. It's live art, chat. And you just throw it on mute. You just look up every now and then. You go, oh, look at that. De Niro's, throwing that guy around in the cafe. Now they're in a heist or doing whatever. But also I guess we are turning this into a sleepless rewatch. It is what it is, chat. But I forgot as well too. We have that other Hayden Christensen movie that we discovered when we were doing the Revenge of the Sith rewatch with Paul Walker and T.I. So I mean, chat, did we cook up that movie on ChatGPT, or is that a real movie? But that one's, speaking of expiring on Tubi, chat, that one's leaving soon. So that might be. Hey yo, tune in tomorrow. Next is because we got another playoff game tomorrow, right, chat? The NBA is really trying to capitalize here. I mean, this is what we want. Basketball every day. They're doing a good job. Let's double check tomorrow, chat. Yeah, tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, Knicks, Pacers, and Paul Walker and T.I. It might just be what happens, chat. Who knows? Or, if there's some album from the weekend. Because we don't know yet. We don't know. But speaking of Shea and Anthony Edwards, chat, that actually just reminds me as well too. They announced the all NBA teams officially for today. So let's see if Basketball Reference, they can be a day sometimes adding this stuff on. Let's see if they've actually added. Maybe they announced it yesterday. I think they might have announced it last night, so it might actually be 24 hours at this point, because I think I saw it actually after we got off the live stream. Which, IT, why aren't you scrolling Twitter in the background looking for news? That would have been good news to get as well too. But, or Insta or something, chat. But let's see here. Did they add? Okay, yeah, league awards. Some of the leaders. I saw Victor Wembanyama, chat. Still qualifying for some of the defensive stuff. Oh, the in-season tournament all-team. I forgot about this team, chat. Giannis, the Bucks. I mean, shout out. They won the tournament. They did win over the Thunder. Shea, so Dame Lillard and the Bucks making that team as well too. Sven Goon and Trae Young as well too. The All-Star Game rosters. So, okay, they haven't added All-NBA on here yet, but that's okay, chat. We can find it if we look it up. And I think it was pretty set in stone. The problem is, of course, we did our All-NBA episode right after the season ended. So I could pull the list back up and try to... I actually don't know if we have the list. I think we just spitballed it. Did we write it down? Do I have to flip through the vault in the notebook, chat, and see if we can randomly find a list that looks like the All-NBA team? Because we don't have it circled nicely that says 2025 All-NBA. Oh, chat, this could be a second. This is not the most organized. Oh, wait a second. But we know it's at the end of the regular season, so it's got to be in here somewhere. Dilemma by Nelly, chat? What are we writing down in here? Oh, wait a second. Did we did we talk about All NBA before or after Some Sexy Songs for You was released, chat? I think that would have been after in the timeline. I just don't know. So maybe it's in a different notebook, unless we were putting Nelly on All NBA for some reason, though I doubt it, chat. Probably not in 2025. But yeah, I guess I don't think we wrote it down, unfortunately. But yeah, either way, I want to say, it's like, did we put Halliburton on All NBA? I hope we did. Because, again, looking at it now, it's like, well, that's perfect that he's on there. Because, you know, we can go back and look at the regular season numbers. I know initially his regular season, I think, was a little bit slower than, obviously, the way that he ended the stretch. But with the way, again, he's played in the playoffs and his impact being fully shown in this run, it really is clear that, I mean, again, he's making that case very obvious that he is in that top 15 for players in the NBA. So it's perfect that he got on the list. But, okay, wait, second and third team. So first team, I think, oh, wait, they just have the picture here for first team. So Giannis, Shea, Jokic, Mitchell, and Tatum. Not super surprising. I think we had Curry on there for Mitchell because we're biased Curry fans, chat. But, you know, with the Cavs winning 60-plus games and being the number one team in the East, there's really no wrong answer between those two guys anyways. Mitchell getting that first team spot is fine. But, again, you look at the playoff impact. Like, Curry obviously got hurt. But, you know, with what the Cavs, a little bit of an early exit, like, I don't think it would have been totally wrong as well, too, like we're saying, to put Curry on that first team and have Mitchell on that second team looking back in history. And Curry was on the second team, too. He didn't fall down to that third team All-NBA. So if he had been on third team, it's a little bit more of the perception of that jump is maybe a little bit higher. But second team is okay. See, we did have Mobley on All-NBA, and that's fine. But two Cavs on All-NBA now, it's like, oh, you know, they lost the second round of the playoffs. I don't know. But again, it's a regular season award. So what do you do there, chat? Yeah, Tatum, we got the little stats here. Is that four All-NBAs for Tatum? Wait, 7 for Jokic, 3 for Shea, 2 for Jokic, 5 first-team nods overall. Wait a second. What are they saying there, chat? Are they talking 4 players? Oh, consecutive. 2 consecutive? So, wait, Jokic went like a 3-1. So, he went 3, and then Embiid made the first team the 1 year, and then 2 in a row. But that's why the Giannis run is a little bit special. And that's why, of course, they switched the rules to favor that. So, I mean, you know, with people being like, is the narratives and stuff rigged for Embiid a little bit for Embiid to win the award? It's like, well, no, the league actually rigged the narratives back the other way to get Jokic on first team All-NBA again, which, again, he will get that extra one here this season. And I guess he did have a second team All-NBA in 1920 as well, too. So he made first team All-NBA, first team All-NBA center. And this is early Jokic numbers as well, too, 20, 10, and 7. So it's funny, obviously, with Jokic still being in the league, his numbers increasing. Like any other guy putting up 20, 10, and 7, it's just, you know, I mean, that's what Sabonis is kind of doing. Like, it's just not as good compared to Jokic's numbers now. But back in the day, that was obviously, you know, still like, oh, even that is historic stuff. And again, it's still historic if a player is putting up 20, 10, and 7. It's not a minor accomplishment in any way. But who else was... So early Embiid. So Jokic at a 20, 10, and 7 got the nod, and Embiid over a 27, 13, and 3. So I don't know if we go team wins here, chat. But look at that. The battle started all the way back in 18-19. Maybe the league is rigged, chat, is biased. Who knows? Embiid, points per game. You always want to gravitate toward it. But Philly could have been. Philly at 51 and 31. I could imagine this is early Jokic in the advanced stat stuff where people are like, you just got to watch 54 and 28. Okay. So the regular season stuff was the same. The 3 extra wins. People were like, yeah, I guess it's got to be Jokic. I don't know if we have to look at the whole Western Conference as well, too, and compare conferences. But Durant on Golden State, second team All-NBA. It's just like, it's not right. But, you know, it is what it is. Paul George, of course, was pretty fantastic that season. So, and, you know, we were all mad at Durant for supercharging the Warriors, but just a casual 50% from the field. I guess 35% from 3 is a little like, oh, you know, Durant, not totally as efficient. Could you make the overall, I guess he's 43 and 38, though. Just the new, you know, Paul George ascending into that level, being rewarded, of course, and the two-way stuff that he was doing that year. was pretty fantastic. Kyrie, second team in Boston. Hey, yo. Blake Griffin, third team in Detroit. Shout out, chat. And then you had that Kemba Walker season with Beal being left off. Is that, yeah, okay, 25 points a game. Because he got left off at a 30 a game as well, too. So, you know, retro, what's the right term, chat? Not retroactive history, but, you know, looking back in history, Klay Thompson probably over Kemba Walker on a third-team All-NBA wouldn't be the worst switch in the world either. You know, Towns on a third-team All-NBA is fun. But I guess they only had one center back then, too. So Towns over Gobert, maybe, for third team. Aldridge, third-team All-NBA center? Or does he get that forward spot? 2 Spurs. Was Kawhi? Oh, no, Kawhi, chat. I guess 18, 19. Unfortunately, yeah, DeRozan. Yeah, that would have been the first DeRozan season. But, oh, yeah, Kawhi. There he is on the Raptors. We were looking for the Spurs logo on the side. Yikes, chat. R.I.P. But, yeah, what were we looking at? Oh, Jokic, Giannis, MVPs, first teams. So him and Embiid did go back and forth there a little bit, obviously, for the first, you know, that is shifting. And with Jokic at that, I guess what now the advantage of, wait, is T.I. in Sleepless? Did I forget about this, chat? We have to look the cast back up here real quick. Okay, sorry. We've been distracted now a couple times, but it is what it is. Why can't we spell, chat? It is, okay, 2017. Yeah, there's got to be only one Sleepless that we can double check here. The cast for this movie. Yeah, he is in this movie, chat. Oh, look at that. T.I. He always finds a way, chat. Into the day somehow. We didn't play any T.I. songs on Spotify, so he just was like, well, I'm just going to be in the movie that you're going to be watching later. So, shout out, T.I. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to hear from you today. We got it. We'll be playing T.I. in the gym in the morning. Just make sure that, I guess, you know, again, he'll be in Takers tomorrow night, chat. So, welcome to T.I. week on the on the Remington Pod. Is it a birthday? When's T.I.'s birthday, chat? Is he a Virgo? What do we got? September 25th, 18. Yo, chat. September 25th. Okay, so we'll officially celebrate T.I. week, I guess, in September. But yeah, I forgot he was in this movie. So, you know, I always, you know, Jamie Foxx, Sleepless is like a Jamie Foxx vehicle for us, I guess. And I don't want to dive into this movie too much because Jamie Foxx has a stacked filmography as well too. It's not like there's not other Jamie Foxx movies. I mean, Django, chat. It's not like there's other Jamie Foxx movies. Like I'm saying, they're not gonna not go back and rewatch. Wait, do they not have? Where's the Jamie Foxx actor page? Oh well, it's a sign not to get too distracted and too in the weeds. But shout out T.I. chat. It's a good thing I see. It's one of those things. Do we look up at the right time, or is it just our subconscious is programmed to just notice when T.I. entertainment is when T.I.'s in a movie? If there's like a T.I. song, I guess, you know, you don't have to be super programmed to like know if a T.I. song is on. You're just gonna hear that. But either way, with Jokic being on the first team All-NBA, like the rules changing is going to be interesting for him going forward, because that battle would be, I think, a little bit more like, would his first team All-NBA spot be more solidified for the next 2 or 3 years if you could only have one center on there, or would it be affected? Because again, you got a guy like Wembanyama, and we're not being biased here, chat, but I mean, we are obviously a little bit, but you think as well too where these other centers are, like a guy like Towns. Like Towns, of course, is having his year. Towns is having, spoiler alert, chat. They killed T.I. in the parking garage. Savage stuff. But like a guy like Towns is a decade into his career at this point. The playoff impact stuff he can definitely use to continue to, of course, build his legacy and build his resume and just continue to have success, of course, in his professional career. But in terms of what those guys are going to put up statistically in the regular season, if, you know, they're both doing this, obviously, you know, game limitations and all that stuff, but all the numbers. Oh wait, so they shot him up, but then Harbor finishes him off, chat. Hey yo, pause. That's kind of crazy, but I mean, maybe you could argue puts him out of his misery as well too, but didn't necessarily concern himself with, is he going to suffer or not? But what are we talking about, chat? We're talking about T.I.'s death in Sleepless. Ayo, R.I.P. A moment of silence for T.I. in this movie. But yeah, because Embiid, of course, on the other side of things with him versus Jokic in that first team All-NBA spot, the guy he's been battling the last half decade plus is maybe moving into a different phase of his career. And not to say that we're doubting Embiid could still be an impactful guy, but Embiid as of course, again, that first team All-NBA best center in the league competition, and maybe just with the games played thing, maybe there's going to be a management going forward as well too, where it just, who knows what's attainable in the regular season for those awards. But a guy like Towns, a guy like, Towns is another really interesting one. Maybe Mobley. Like, is Mobley going to outdo Jokic and get to first team All-NBA when, and again, like in the next 3 years, where Jokic can start really piling up these All-NBAs now in a big way? Like, that's a couple of dramatic seasons, like that third season in, like, who knows? Maybe Mobley is fully formed in, but maybe he's a couple of levels up version of himself offensively as well too, and just a different player. But it does still seem like he has a locks statistically in the regular season to be a front court player in the first team All-NBA spot, if especially, again, just considering that center's position. But I guess Sengun maybe here. I guess let's just do a quick scan, because obviously, Wemby's going to be the first name that jumps off the page. But there are going to be some other guys. And with the 5-man thing now as well, too, it is opened up to just, the 5 best players of the league. Could there be a point where there's 5 other players better than Jokic that are, of course, non-centers? Oh, so we are getting Terrence Shannon minutes, chat. We were calling for it in the last game. So up 26 in the first half of game 3. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll figure it out. But that's, Chris Finch. Nice move there. I like it. I'm not saying maybe, are we going to need him in game 4? But you put him out there, you're up by 25 plus points. You don't want to necessarily lose the lead by getting lazy with your lineups. I mean, you got Terrence Shannon. Like, I don't know if we want him in there, driving one-on-one in for looping hook shots, trying to get shots over Chet Holmgren right away, Chat. Like, maybe he's more of a slash straight driver, open three-point shooter, play some defense type of guy at this point in his career right now. But, again, this is the type of stuff you get to figure out why maybe experiment just a little bit, just take advantage a little bit. The Thunder, they're not going to hit a 3 tonight, so you go, okay, well, maybe the comeback attempt pause is going to be stalled a little bit by that. But PER is going to favor the centers anyway, so if we just sort by PER, that's going to be at least a good way to get a start of a list pulled up. Jokic, Wemby, I guess maybe next year, if Davis were to be healthy for 65 games, chat, could Davis have a first-team All-NBA year? Davis and Cooper Flagg and Kyrie, could Cooper Flagg help Anthony Davis get to first-team All-NBA? Like, I guess we have to mention him. Towns, like we're saying, Sabonis. Who else is here, chat? So then you go to the Duren, Sengun. Oh, you got Vooch in here, Walker Kessler, Pirtle, Okongwu, Bam Adebayo for sure, Jaren Jackson. Yeah, I guess, they can be more forwards as well too. If we were thinking like center, if we were thinking a center only conversation, they could also potentially make another All-NBA spot because they could be moved into a forward position as as well too, I think. But Turner, kind of a center, Naz Reid, Missy, Monk. So yeah, I mean, obviously, there's some good top end talent, but some of the middle talent, like who's going to ascend up, a guy like maybe as Wendell Carter, but that would be maybe, Wendell Carter jumps to like third team All-NBA. He's not going to all of a sudden be putting up better stats than, again, with what we've been seeing, with what we've been seeing from Jokic over the last couple of years. We're not saying that, if Jokic stats drop off, then obviously it's it's just a different player at that point that we're comparing these guys against. But Wemby is the obvious one that jumps out as who's going to be there. And I think Duren with Cade as well, too, is definitely very competitive for All-NBAs going forward. I mean, I think he was competitive for third-team All-NBA this year as well, too. But, yeah, him and Mobley, and maybe Towns again in the regular season next year. But he definitely has a chance to continue to stockpile those first-team All-NBAs, have a run as well, too, because his longest run was, just those 2 in a row, just those back-to-back seasons. So, again, the 2022 23 season where he won the finals is going to be remembered. It's not going to be remembered necessarily as a Embiid better than Jokic season, even though Embiid got the MVP. But regardless, again, just looking at the stats, looking at the history, if we were to do the filters and to do the quick research and all that stuff, like his historical runs at that spot is just not going to be there compared to the same other guys. So he could go 2 this year, and then say again he goes the next 3. So this upcoming season, then 2 seasons after that, he could go first team All NBA. That would be, then he would have the half decade run of first team All NBAs. You're going, okay, yeah, 7 out of 9, or yeah, we got the right math there, chat. Like 7 out of 9 seasons, he's got first team All NBA. Then another one in there as well too. Like he'd have, I guess, almost a decade of All NBAs at that point under his. But like clearly, I mean, if he needs anything more, it's he's got 3 MVPs, so he doesn't even need another All NBA as well. This 6-year run, 7-year run is enough to consider himself a great player. But just an interesting thing is, again, we continue to look at the historical factor of it, because I think with the playoff achievements, Giannis and Jokic are right there, of course, compared in the historical aspect of it. And Giannis has had that All-NBA run where, I mean, how many years in a row is this now, chat? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row where Giannis is first team All-NBA. So he might be another one where, actually, like I say, I don't know how that benefits these guys. Maybe it benefits Jokic that he is a center and he's going to be directly compared positionally against those other guys. Giannis does get compared more against the forwards in the league, of course. And maybe he gets compared against a little bit of both. But even if he is that, like we're saying with Durant in that second team All NBA season on the Warriors, Giannis on the Spurs next year, he's playing with Wembanyama, just as a potential storyline that could happen to maybe why he doesn't make first team All NBA. He goes to a team like San Antonio, pairs up with another better, younger star player. His stats are still all the same, but it's like, how does that younger player impact the team success that Giannis is having now? And maybe, again, a guy like some other, Amen Thompson, who knows, Jack, Cooper Flagg, like some other Cade Cunningham, like some of these other guys ascend up, and then the newness factor of them being that first time where they get to be in the first team All NBA conversation. And, sometimes I feel like me and Sam and, have we been listening to guys like Simmons and Russillo talk about the All NBA and make sure to be cautious with doing those type of things and just giving the recognition to the newer stars and like, hey, do we need to make sure that the older stars are recognized? Like, don't just give up their spots right away, because there is still that status that has been earned over multiple years of dominance and multiple years of consistency. So, I feel like if in our hypothetical voting situations, maybe we just both, I think, really love Giannis as a player as well too. So we're not going to not vote for Giannis as first team All NBA, not necessarily campaign for it as much as we can. But he does have a more historic run at this point, and just one of the most historic runs that any guy has ever had. I think, again, it's not a perfect way to look at it because, a guy like Karl Malone, speaking of us listening to Simmons, chat, has he been polluting us, with the anti Karl Malone propaganda? But again, regardless, like how many is this, chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So he made 11 in a row. I guess I don't even know why we went Karl Malone first, chat, because LeBron has, obviously not still necessarily first team All NBA, but for however many seasons there was. Okay, so he had a little second team All NBA season here in 06-07, his 4th season in the league, and then didn't make All NBA his first year in the league. But starting in 07-08, I'm guessing he didn't make second team All NBA for a while after this. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, so he tied Karl Malone. And then he made first team All NBA again. And then second team, then third team. And then he'll be third team again All NBA this year, but he'll be 6th in the MVP voting because we looked at that as well too, which will be another insane thing as well too. So 40 years old, top 6 in MVP voting, basically, in that second team All NBA, pushing more into the second team, first team All NBA range than actually a first team All NBA player, which I think is an accurate double sort of representation of the season. Where again, he's not, I don't think it was like LeBron is on the Jokic, Giannis, Tatum level this year of just he's a first team All NBA and an MVP candidate. But it's like, oh yeah, there are nights and stretches of the year where LeBron was one of the 5 best players in the league, and then there was moments where the Luka and the team around him could he have done it for 82 games. So it's a nice sort of balance of third team and I think 6th on MVP voting for his season this year. But 11, let's I guess go Kareem. Kareem would have the seasons because MJ would have the retirement seasons as well too, and then that season where he returned halfway through. They didn't even have the game limitations back then, and he wouldn't have even qualified. Just like, okay, it's still not allowed, but he would have had the overall number to match some of these guys, but maybe not in a row. Chat, there's a sneeze that's like halfway. I think it's gonna go away. Okay, yeah, there it goes. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and then didn't make an All NBA team in 74-75. 65 games played. We don't know what happened, chat, this year. I don't know, just injuries or what. Maybe they only had 2 back then. So yeah, here, I guess let's go season before and see. They may have only had 2 pre-merger. Yeah, so Kareem and Elvin Hayes Kareem and Bob McAdoo were the first team All-NBA centers. Elvin Hayes getting a forward spot, and Spencer Haywood. So that's speaking of flexing spots, chat, but that is, I think, because Spencer Haywood and Elvin Hayes both pretty much centers for a lot of their careers. I guess Haywood's 6'8". Maybe maybe we don't know his 70s history. Still not experts, chat. But do we get I guess he was a center his rookie year. That's when he was his most dominant. But was that ABA as well too? Do they have a positional play-by-play thing here for his career? 100 possessions. Oh, they might not have the breakdown, chat. For some of the modern guys, they had the breakdown of how many minutes they played at each spot on the court. But I don't think they had those advanced stats in the 73-74 season. But I think eye test, there's probably some Spencer Haywood center lineups. Also some Elvin Hayes center lineups as well, too. Though he was 6'9" as well. But Kareem was, 7-footers. A taller center, not necessarily average height. But 2 All-NBA teams. And then, so 74-75, he didn't make All-NBA. The All-NBA centers that year were, Bob McAdoo was first team, and Cowens was second team. Dave Cowan. So this would have been an interesting year of the no position restrictions for All-NBA to see what the potential options would be. Maybe that's another summer segment, Chad. Random do you guys want to see random All-NBA debates from 74-75? Should it have been Kareem or Spencer Haywood if we could have voted for anybody? Kareem or Havlicek. But again, we're pro Spencer Haywood here. So Kareem got enough achievements in his career. Spencer Haywood got 4 All-NBAs. What are we going to take an All-NBA away from Spencer Haywood, chat? What are we doing here on the room? That's not the point of the pod. I don't think so. We're not trying to rewrite history that way. Maybe we're trying to rewrite history to give Spencer Haywood 1 more All-NBA. So maybe there's a second one. There's 2 more we can give him down the line. But, just a quick glance at the basketball reference page is going to need to get some of those All-NBAs earlier in his career. But maybe Phil Chenier. Maybe Phil Chenier gets left off the list. 3-time All-Star. Again, we're going to start taking guys' achievements away from him. The 1 All-NBA he made. Now all of a sudden it's like, hey, what about me? But 22 a game for a couple of years. 20 a game score for 4 years in a row. Is that 5 years in a row, basically? 20 a game for Washington. Was he on a title team for Washington? I think he might have left before. Oh, he left before, chat. Phil Chenier Ewing theory. What was the trade? Supplemental hardship draft. Hey, yo. The 1971 supplemental hardship draft. Why don't we have things like this anymore, chat? Why can't we have nice things in the NBA? Where did the supplemental hardship draft go? Drafted by the Bullets, traded by the Bullets for future considerations. They didn't even worry about it. They're like, yeah, just we'll reconvene another time and figure out what those draft compensations are. The Pacers just never called them back. Like, well, hey, if they're not going to hit us up for the meeting, we're not going to reach out and figure it out. So who knows what the Pacers drafted Reggie Miller with that hypothetical draft pick. He could have been a Bullet, chat. Who knows? But yeah, I guess that's why Kareem got his All-NBA streak broken there a little bit. So he didn't make one. First team, second team as well, too. So 77-78. Like, see, he would have been battling with Malone back in the day. So, again, in terms of the the overall legacy stuff, like Kareem's greatness as a player is still kind of established. But, and again, like, are you going to put Giannis over Jokic solely on the fact that he made more All-NBAs in a row? Like, probably not. But it is a part of the factor where both of those guys, anyways, I think it elevates Embiid a little bit, where, you know, it just continues to show that he was in this conversation all these years. And just right there, I mean, again, in the regular season, just right there, I know some of the playoff stuff was okay, but again, it's not like Jokic has 3 titles as well, too, at this point. He can still definitely add to that. But, and 1 title is very impressive. We're not taking away from that at all. But the first team, Bill Walton in 77, 78. So that's just a lost potential consistent All-NBA threat at first team that Kareem didn't have to worry about there in the 70s and 80s as well, too. You imagine he would have gotten a couple more. And I guess 77, 78, yeah, Moses wouldn't even have been in the league at this point. So I know, Moses' first team All-NBA run, maybe not, a little up and down, but he was second team All-NBA. Okay, so 2 years in a row, Chad, 77 and 78. And then, so then they got Magic. So Kareem, Chad, I mean, I know it's like some of those lost years going to the Lakers there. And he was the MVP the first couple of years in LA. I mean, 27 and 17 and 4 blocks a game. Like, holy cow. But a couple of, he's slipping a little bit, Chad. Second team All-NBA. He's only the 6th best player in the league. First team. And then by 34, he doesn't make an All-NBA. 76 games played, 23 and 8 and 2.7 blocks per game. Then second team, first team, second team, first team. And then those last 3 years, so again, LeBron at 39 and 40 has been an All-NBA. And like we're saying, this year was even in the MVP votes as well, too. And next year is going to be crazy, chat. Because like we're saying, I think there could even be a managing of minutes that happens. Chat, we weren't even looking at the score for a stretch there. It wasn't even worth it. It's now 66 to 32. Hey, yo. So like I'm saying, this game means absolutely nothing anymore. Yes, Minnesota is playing well. They're playing too well. OKC, they're playing too bad. This game doesn't make sense. Anthony Edwards, it's great that he's Minnesota fans, they get what they paid for tonight. You get to see your star player pop off. But hey, yo. But 18 points. So I guess he's only taken, I guess probably hasn't even had too much run in the second quarter, just worrying about all that stuff. So Naz Reid with 10. I guess, again, those would be the takeaways for the games going forward would be, could these guys get some rhythm? Could Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been playing well, but could these guys actually find space and get a rhythm to be more consistent 3-point shooters over the course of the series? Because Game 4 is not completely locked in, again, for OKC to just go out there and win that game. I think I really, really trust them to win this game at this point. But there is the little voice in the back of the head is like, again, you can't write off Anthony Edwards. He's still a star. He still has the potential to elevate into that just, he has arrived. He is here stats, that which he is already there. But taking his team to the finals, of course, would be that just absolute last step for either of these guys. So, yeah, it'll be Shea's turn or Edwards' turn. But I'm just saying, Edwards' turn is not totally off the table in Game 4. And if the role players around him are finally firing at home on 3, maybe it's the home court as well too. So it still is, what does the other couple, bigger picture, what does the games 4, are we thinking games 5 through 7 now? What do those mean? How can we get rhythm at 3 on the road? But again, maybe it just means a more competitive series in the next couple of games here as well. But OKC is going to get the same sort of random benefit from this game where maybe their bench guys are going to get some run in the second half here. Shea's still in the game. I guess you're just going to want to see. But 34 is a little aggressive. Like, you're probably not going to... 20, even like 25. I think in 2025, I don't know if it's just going to go in correlation with the years, but in 2025 right now, I think a 25-point lead, I'm still keeping my starters in. First half, for sure. But, that's still like a... We can make this up in the modern NBA. We can hit some threes and we can be right back in this, and we will be okay. 30 is still it's a little much, Chad. I don't know. Once we introduce the 4-point line or the 4-point circles, then maybe David Harbour just shot the driver of the car, chat. He just was willing to risk the car flip, and they're being chased by the cops. But why would the cops signal for the radio when David Harbour's got a gun pointed at the back of your head, chat? I guess, a swing and a miss on that call. But, yeah, wait, what were we saying here about Edwards? Oh, yeah, the rhythm of Nas Reed. Is Nas Reed a rhythm? I don't know. Randall, there we go. Getting bullied. Or doing the bullying, I guess. Getting to 70 in the first half. So I guess on the other, we do have to give them their credit for a great game. This is probably the best performance so far against OKC in a half in the playoffs. I'd have to go back and remember what some of those Nuggets halves were, because they had that one game where was it game 6 or was it game 4 or game 3? What was the order? Game 5 or game 3? Because they won game 1 and then alternated there for a second, but then the Nuggets or the Thunder flipped the series on them at some point, obviously. So there was the one game where they looked really, really good, and I don't know what the biggest lead would have been for them in that game. Oh yeah, OKC had the dominant game, of course, in game 2 and game 7. Not bad. I guess game 5 they had a lead. Or no, game 5 they won. Wait, which one are we thinking here? Maybe game 3. Game 3 they had a lead. Is this going to give us biggest lead on this box score? I don't think it does. But maybe in the play-by-play here. Or plus minus. We don't go to this plus minus tab enough, chat. Let's just see real quick. Oh, this is probably not it. Probably not it. So if we just take a quick scan of the score, see if we can find one that was kind of out of control at some point. Maybe maybe again, the Nuggets just being up by like 12 was like a crazy accomplishment at some point in the series. They kind of fought in this one though. So, we'll do the research, chat, and we'll get back to you. But 72 is crazy. 24 points in the second quarter is in line with what we've seen a little bit from the Thunder this, again, differently from the first couple of games of this series. So I guess, on the other hand, the Thunder have also been a third quarter team, but now we're looking at 32 points. So if they're a third quarter team, what were the margins of victories in the third? Now we're in the weeds, chat. But I don't know. Can we get is there some live betting opportunities that we could figure out here? We may have to. So they outscored them 32-18 in the third quarter in game 1. So game 2, I think they also had a dominant quarter as well too, chat. 35-21. So if they're in that 14 to 18 point range in the third quarter, I mean, they would have to do that in 2 quarters in a row. So 18-18 is going to get you to that's going to get you to 39. They're not quite down by 40, I guess. But oh wait, do we got an official halftime on the ESPN? Now we actually won, spoilers, chat. I got to get to doing the math here. We got to see if this is possible. Okay, so it's going to be a 31-point deficit at the half. So they're going to need 16 and 16, essentially, outscoring by 16 in each quarter. It's not, you break down the math like that, it's not totally impossible. Could they outscore them by 20 in the third quarter, and then they're down by 11 in going into the fourth? 11-point deficit after swinging the momentum that much is not going to seem like much. You're probably going to hit 2 threes right away, and then all of a sudden you're down by 5 right away. So that whole fourth quarter is just basically a clutch battle. So, like I say, I still, chat, I guess I'm, walk it back. Modern NBA, 30 points, you can still do it. 16 and 16 a quarter, maybe that is right on the limit. whatever the Thunder deficit is at halftime, I guess, is going to be the limit. But 16 and 16, maybe it's more like 16 and 12. Edwards, a little frustrated with himself at the end of the quarter there. You like to see him hold himself to a perfect standard, I guess. Oh, the fake Walter Goggins goes down, chat. Hey, yo. See, is this movie like one half of basketball? Like, this movie might be an hour. Like, I think it was a theatrical release, but it's got TV movie vibes for sure. Oh yeah, no, we're going 90 minutes. in the runtime here. So shout out Sleepless, chat. Sleeper. A sleeper movie. Don't sleep on Sleepless, I guess. Starring Jamie Foxx. Hey, yo, chat. Hey, yo. But, yeah, halftime. We'll take a quick break. I guess we got resume looking through all NBA teams and figure out if the Thunder are going to make an historic comeback in the second half or not, chat. Stay with us. The REMINGTOM pod continues right after this. 3, 2, 1. There we go, chat. Welcome back. Second half, halftime, I guess, is in progress. Second half about to start. But continuing looking through the first team, or just all NBAs in general. Where did our page go? I guess it's this one here. Here we go. Brunson's second team. So first team, yeah, we mentioned Jokic. We mentioned Giannis with 7 teams. Mitchell, is this Mitchell's first team all NBA? Mitchell been hovering in that second team range for a minute, but this might be the first time he's actually gotten into the top 5. I guess only his second All-NBA over his career. 6-time All-Star, but 1 All-NBA. Wow, Chad. So 1 All-NBA and it's a first team. So I remember when Pop's off top, Donovan Mitchell, obviously one of the best scorers, best offensive players in the league when he's at his best. 44% from the field this year. Back-to-back years with 36.8 three-point percentage is pretty crazy. And a year ago, 38.6? What is this witchcraft, chat? And then 4 years ago, 38.6 as well. Donovan Mitchell, a weirdly consistent three-point shooter, I guess. But, yeah, first time, first team. So now he really is, of course, a playoff moment away from becoming a really special player because, 28 points a game, chat, in the playoffs. Again, 44 and 35. The efficiency is what it is. He's taken 22 shots a game in the playoffs as well, too. But the 28 points a game in a pretty sizable sample size. Like, again, he hasn't really made a conference finals yet for himself, unfortunately. But he has been in a bunch of 7-game series and in a bunch of second-round series as well, too. So he does just have a bunch of playoff games stacked up at this point by virtue of just, all of those constant appearances. But playoff in a game, I guess, is this going to be season leaders? Or can we get, like, an actual just game high, chat? I want to know. I guess we're going points per game anyways with Donovan Mitchell here. So, yeah, points per game. Are we in the playoffs tab? I'm scrolling around. Okay, yeah, playoffs tab. Points per game. All-time for a career. And he might even have a good single-season record as well, too. But 7th all-time, chat, in career playoff points per game. Devin Booker is 8th. Shout out to that guy, Devin Booker. Anthony Edwards, 11, chat. Giannis at 13. Steph at 14. Gervin, Trae Young, Anthony Davis, Hakeem, Kobe, Bob Pettit rounds out the top 20. But yeah, MJ, Doncic, Iverson, Durant, West, LeBron. So, the top 6. Mitchell is kind of the cutoff, chat. Mitchell is kind of the cutoff for, not to disrespect Mitchell in any way, but I'm just saying, like, then you go Mitchell and Booker both kind of in the same spots in their career. And Jokic obviously has a title. Rick Barry has a title. Even Edwards is more in the Mitchell-Booker mix, obviously, than he is with Jokic and Rick Barry at this point. Elgin. And then, Giannis, Steph, those guys obviously a little bit more playoff accomplished than Donovan Mitchell as well, too. But the individual scoring is there. So, again, these are all kind of lead guys. So maybe that's where the Booker-Mitchell piece is a little interesting, is where are their fits in terms of that role in leading a team to the title, where a lot of these guys that lead the team in scoring are that best player in a all-rounded type of way. That Booker also has the playmaking element, and he showed the defensive element as well, too, at the peak of his powers. I think Mitchell has showed both of those things as well, too. What does the Pluto Crime Channel have for us next, chat? Are we just committing to the Crime Channel tonight? Pain and gain? I guess we are. Okay. Lock it in, chat. But, Mitchell at 28 a game, right there with LeBron, I guess, as well, too. Both basically the same points per game number. Anyways, obviously, we're not saying anything about that. Mitchell would be third all-time in the ABA, ahead of George Gervin. So I guess that's the combined NBA, ABA. Gervin is still 13, 15. Basically doesn't change too much in the top 20. It moves Dominique up, I guess, one spot. So somebody over here is dropped down a little bit. Maybe Dr. J, or Maybe Dan Nissel as well too. McGinnis. I mean, any of these guys really could have taken a hit. Oh, Rick Barry goes from 33 a game. His NBA career, excuse me, chat, is... Oh, so he might be the one that kind of drops. Oh, yeah, the 25-24 a game. So still puts him 10th all time. So still pretty respectful, pretty consistent, I think, with his standing, with where you would put him. You know, he's going to be in the mix for better players in NBA history, of course. But, yeah, Mitchell, I mean, maybe he doesn't even need, again, the second or the first guy to be, like, the best player on the team. Maybe he just needs that second guy to be, and maybe it's Mobley just continued to develop. But that's the problem with the Cavs team, chat, is Mobley is that borderline guy where it's like, okay, I don't know if he's going to get to best guy on a title team, but it's like, okay, Mobley should be the second best guy on a title team with the skill set that he has. And again, Mitchell is kind of that question of, okay, I don't know if he can, is he quite the best guy? But he's also definitely a second best guy as well too, but definitely more experience as the best guy on a team. But that is a 1-2 combo, and the complementing elements that they have to each other's game. Of course, Mitchell being that perimeter dynamic guard, and Mobley being that interior defender, that pick and roll playmaker who can really complement him well in both elements. And just being that big man guard combination that we see can be so deadly when it's at the peak of his powers all the time as well too. Like, that is just, of course, a team that has a formula to win a title. And Mitchell, now, like we're saying, with him being an all, like, it proved itself in the regular season this way even more than it had before in Utah. But that's the thing as well too. Like, Utah, it's not like, you know, at what point is the 60 win mark different than the 58 win mark? And it's all still really impressive stuff, but it's also, you know, a little bit of a resume here that it's building up of these seasons that we can calculate over and over again what the ultimate rhythm of the season is going to be, and what the accomplishments are, and then what's going to end up being by the end of it in the playoffs. But chat, is this going to be a lot of just testosterone and just ripped athletes on the screen right now? Just Anthony Mackie, Mark Wahlberg, Naz Reid. I guess, you know, speaking of, are the Timberwolves are definitely, again, like a strong physical team, but they're not like a ripped up team, you know? I'm trying to think, like, what is the most aesthetic team in the NBA? Is kind of crazy. But, you know, what's like the most bodybuilder level team? Maybe the Pistons. I mean, the Pistons, again, you know, speaking of testosterone, chat. But Asar, Ron Holland, Stewart's kind of just a block of muscle a little bit. But I don't know if he's like a, you know, Mr. Olympia type as well. So I don't know. We're gonna have to do some really weird Google searches, I guess, to do the research for that one. But yeah, shout out to Mitchell. Only his second team All NBA is crazy, and I guess there's probably more some injury stuff maybe with that as well too. That is just, again, not restricted him from making it, but maybe just been a tiebreaker type factor in some conversations in the past. 69, 53, 67, 67, 55. Yeah, and then this year actually had 71 games played. Is his most healthy season. First time he's hit the 70-game mark barely since 18-19. I guess he did hit, you know, 69, 68, 67. He's really close to that 70-game mark for a lot of it. But still, those are going to be kind of tie-breaking type things. I guess he's going to be getting all NBA votes the last handful of years. It's not like he's going to be absent of the list and things like that. I mean, yeah, he's right there 4. So Bam with 28, Butler with 32. That's just, yeah, the Miami combination. And then Utah, Gobert at 45, of course, getting the love in the award stuff in that run. Probably Defensive Player of the Year this year. Or, third this year. A rare year where Rudy did not win Defensive Player of the Year. What was going on with the voters, chat? We all know what they love voting for. But you got, like Donovan Mitchell versus Trae Young. You got Chris Paul and Phoenix this year, of course. LeBron and Karl Towns. It's pretty stacked. Third team, 2020, 2021. You've got Mitchell, most improved, All-NBA. 26 votes this year for All-NBA. Tatum, a 22-year-old Tatum's not even making All-NBA in 2021. Tatum, Westbrook, Harden, Zion, Bam, Mitchell, Durant, Booker, Sabonis. Capella, Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons, Vooch, Trae Young, Draymond Green, Zach LaVine, and Chris Middleton. Those are all guys that got votes but didn't make it, chat. That's crazy. The third team that year was Gobert, Butler, George, Beal, and Kyrie in Brooklyn. And then you've got Portland, Dame, Embiid, Chris Paul, second team in Phoenix, Randall in New York, and then LeBron's second team in LA as well, too. Chat. Tatum, Westbrook, Harden, Zion, Bam, Mitchell, Durant, Booker, Sabonis is a crazy run for just honorable mention guys. And I know we're maybe putting it in the just obviously the name values of all those guys, different spots in their careers throughout. But, you know, Sabonis probably still, I guess he's 20, 12, and 6 this year. So he's kind of, you know, right where he's been at a little bit. Maybe a couple more rebounds, maybe a couple more assists as well, too. But, second half underway, chat. Okay, keep an eye just in case. The starters are out there. Lou Dort's bringing the ball up, so I guess are they going to make this first three and just get off to a hot start? Jalen Williams, oh no, immediately turns it over. Just gets bumped off his spot on the dribble, loses the handle. Oh, disaster, chat. Conley, the three. Conley's got to get one of these to go. They're up 30, it doesn't matter anymore. But Conley, we want to feel good about yourself winning a title. We want to look back and be like, yeah, Conley was fun for that run. He was hitting threes. The Conley playoff highlight package, we don't want it to be like when the Thunder were like, hey, let's honor Perk and just show this one dunk from 6 different angles. Like, we don't want to, hey, what's the one Mike Conley breakaway layup from the 2025 playoff run? But, yeah. What year? I guess Mitchell's not making All-NBA in any of these years, chap. And I guess he is a little farther off from making it than I was thinking. Because, again, it's not like he's been the lead honorable mention guy. He's definitely gotten a handful of votes as well, too. So he's been in the definite mix. It's not just, the one Milwaukee guy over here voting for Brook Lopez to be on third team. But 10 votes for All-NBA in 2020. Trae Young, Kyle Lowry, Brad Beal, Chris Middleton, maybe as a backcourt, frontcourt combo guy as well, too, taking a spot from him. Getting votes, more votes than Kemba Walker, Devin Booker, and Zach LaVine as well, too. 18-19 for our guy Mitchell. He would have only gotten 4 votes that year. Beal, Thompson, I guess, was that combo again. And then Towns, Aldridge, Gallinari with 7 All-NBA votes. Ben Simmons with 7 All-NBA votes. And Mike Conley with 4. Donovan Mitchell with 4. Pascal Siakam with 4. And Vooch with 4. Doncic at 19 with 3. Dwayne Wade at 37 with 3 All-NBA votes. Put up a 15, 4, and 4. And got 3 All-NBA votes. DeRozan, 3 All-NBA votes. D'Angelo Russell, Tobias Harris, Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley has an All-NBA vote on his resume. 15 and 7. Was this his rookie season? 19 a game. I guess you're thinking, sky's the limit for Marvin Bagley after putting up a 15 and 7. But 50% from the field. Did we underestimate Marvin Bagley, chat? I think we did. He's been kind of decent on the Pistons. I think he's on that team. But Booker, Davis, Gordon, Holiday, Lowry, Sabonis, Turner. Lou Williams. Shout out to Lou Williams. 3 All-NBA votes for D'Angelo Russell as well, too. That was a fun season, chat. The D'Angelo Russell Brooklyn season. For the D'Angelo Russell stockholders like myself, we were having a good time with him getting All-NBA votes that year. But yeah, Mitchell now. At conference finals, what would a conference finals even do for his resume? But maybe, chat, do we just go like a quick... I feel like we just need to look at Garland. Sorry to Darius Garland. But, again, just because Mitchell made All-NBA, and we're not focusing on more what the Cavs should do, but how you should build a team around Mitchell, which, again, is sort of the same conversation. But we're just, Darius Garland, hey, chill out. Obviously, we're not going to trade. That's right, they can't aggregate. That's tough, chat. That's tough. You can definitely get multiple players back, so it's not like it has to be a 1-for-1 straight up. But with as good as Garland is, maybe you would think Garland and some picks and then maybe an extra contract because he's only at 40. So you would think that maybe you would need Garland in one more contract to bring in that extra heavy hitter guy. And then if you're going to be trading for a guy who's on a cheap deal, like his trade value might just be a little bit too high if his contract is that favorable, chat. And Garland as a point guard with his offense and his playmaking next to Mitchell is a good contrast, chat. It is a good thing to have. The Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals, so, are they going to be making moves? Can you get Bridges? Could you get Bridges in somebody for Garland? Probably not. The Knicks, if they don't, and they're down to nothing, though, right now. So they're not, are they a little panicky, not feeling great? Again, they are advanced about as far as they've been in the playoffs this entire century. So there is that sort of, happiness in the fan base just as a byproduct of that as well, too. Just who's going to get Denny Advia, chat? That is the question. Is it a guy like Simons? Is it a swing like that? Because Simons, you still have about 12 mil to work with in the trade returning the other way. And with as much upside as maybe Simons still has, him and Garland, and you'd have to pay Simons as well, too. It's an interesting deal in the timeline contract stuff of that. Maybe Simons only goes on a 3-year deal anyways, though. Maybe he's not a 4 or 5-year deal guy, obviously. But you could do, and you can't aggregate. See, you could start doing Garland and Jared Allen gets you $50 million, almost $60 million in cap space sending back. You could really bring in some contracts that way. I mean, Portland would be building kind of a weird playoff contending team by doing that. But you're probably not going to get Simons and Advia. Simons and Thibault for Garland, I'd want a little bit more if that's the only two pieces I'm getting out of that second piece. Chris Murray, a team option on Chris Murray. Rupert Chet, Kamara, Simons and Kamara for Darius Garland. You take a swing on Kamara, you still, are you going 3 for 1 on Darius Garland? Maybe there's a third team that we could bring in. Chat, is Kamara the missing piece to the Cavs title hopes? A playmaking, scoring power for, forwardy type guy. I don't know if he fits, but Mobley, you just think how much could Mobley make up for defensively? I don't know if Kamara could he just be a good defender on the Cavs team. Kamara and Hunter, of course. I mean, it's 2025. All these forward guys can play together. Mitchell, Simons, Kamara, Mobley, and is that Mitchell, Simons, Kamara, Mobley, and Hunter? Those 5, maybe Allen, maybe Ty Jerome. I guess Ty Jerome's a free agent right now. So Ty Jerome's sign and trade, I guess, is a potential possibility. Kamara is not a bad piece to get back, though, chat. $10 million. The Blazers do have cap space, so do they just, what does that mean for the Scoot upside, though? Can you play Garland and Scoot together? I think Scoot, athletically, you would hope that he can give you a little bit of that Kaysen Wallace, Drew Holiday defense. Maybe not to the level, but again, just the versatility. Because I think, hopefully he could be responsible for more offense as well, too, so you wouldn't have to be reliant on, you wouldn't be focusing him mainly as the best defender. I guess he could Kawhi it and do well. Scoot Henderson, the next Kawhi, chat. You heard it here. Guard Kawhi, but guard version of Kawhi. But he might also be able to guard Kawhi as well, too. But so if he had some defensive versatility next to Garland, Garland's going to always have those switchability questions regardless of the team that he goes on. Which, speaking of guys, developing around defensive issue point guard, chat. DE? Defensive dysfunction? Or that'd be more like DD. Double D's, though, is kind of crazy to say. I don't know if that gets the meaning across. But Garland for Trae Young? Just straight up? Just say, hey, Trae Young, the upside of Trae Young? It's probably too much, chat. Yeah, and they can't aggregate. They can't put in a second player into the deal. So 6.5 is $2 million. Too much to take out. Take back in this deal. I don't know if you can trade a third. Can you trade a second guy to a third team? Would be the only other. Could you trade Dean Wade, basically, to another team, and then, you wouldn't be able to take a contract back, but you would be able to take a pick back maybe. So I don't know which team wants to absorb Dean Wade into their salary cap, but it's not too much. It's only $6 million. So Dean Wade's actually pretty good though too. So you're not going to be upset about that. It's a good thing tomorrow's back day, chat, because Dwayne Johnson doing pull-ups is having us inspired for back day anyways. That's for sure. Shout out Dwayne Johnson, Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Mackie. Is there a Pain and Gain 2 that I'm missing? We're remaking everything these days. We're not remaking Pain and Gain. Where are these 2000s sort of, like, you know, Hustle and Flow 2? I don't know if we're going to get Hustle and Flow 2, but Pain and Gain 2? I guess I don't remember, like, the plot points of this movie. So, a real refresher tonight, chat, on some new movies. But what is, like, does anybody die in this movie that they wouldn't be in? But you could just bring it, like, if Dwayne Johnson dies in this movie and I'm forgetting about it, you could just bring Dwayne Johnson back. Oh, he's got a shotgun to the back of the head right now, chat. Maybe he dies this soon. Oh, no, does he just get arrested? Yeah, just in prison. Okay, they wouldn't kill Dwayne Johnson right after the opening credits. I don't think Dwayne Johnson would sign up for that part, chat. Imagine, that would be the real turn in Dwayne Johnson's career. The movie where they killed Dwayne Johnson off in, like, minute 45. And I guess what movie is he the side character in? But, I mean, if he's just in, like, a Scream remake, maybe they would do it with him as the main character. Or the main character in the trailers anyways. But, yeah, that would be his, like, okay, now he's taking acting seriously, I guess, sort of turn. He's Russell Westbrook changing his play style. He's not the star player in every role, chat. Zach LaVine for Darius Garland is too much as well, too. DeRozan, probably not enough. So, I don't know why it has to be Garland, chat. But Allen at 20 mil, you're probably just not going to get enough back. Maybe you could get a couple of pieces back, though, chat. Could you get another center? Is there any team that'll give you a center and a swing? Or something? What do the Mavs give you for Jared Allen, chat? Would they turn Gafford into Jared Allen on a 4-year deal? They're like, okay, we got to have a center on. We got to have as many centers on long-term contracts as possible. But I don't know if Dallas would do a 2-for-1 at this point. A little first apron space there, chat. Dallas doing a nice job managing the books. Look at them go. Orlando's always going to be a trade team. I guess we don't even want to click on them. Well, let's go back to Atlanta here for the Darius Garland possibility. We did say Trae Young straight up, but Terrence Mann, Recherche for Darius Garland. Then you think maybe what do you get for Trae Young down the line? Dyson Daniels just made all defense, so probably not. The contract situation might not line up here. I guess Atlanta's got a little. They got a little space. So they could definitely absorb him in. So maybe the move would be Trae Young to a third team. Okay, let's just, I guess for the sake of it, chat, since it is 86-54, we will cook up a little maybe Darius Garland, Trae Young 3-teamer and just see if we can bring in a third team. So I know we're trying to get Darius Garland to the Hawks, Trae Young to the Cavs maybe, but Trae Young doesn't necessarily have to go to the Cavs. So once again, who wants Trae Young, chat? What's the third team that wants to Trae Young and then give the Cavs pieces back? So is this where we bring Dallas into the mix? I don't know if they're giving up Kyrie for Trae Young. Kyrie, I think the upside of, Kyrie's still a finals guy. I think Nico Harrison's looking at some of that playoff stuff as well, too, in his models, chat. More so than some of the Trae Young moments. But Phoenix can't aggregate guys. Do we bring Portland back into it? Portland just feels like a team that could do something this offseason, chat. They're a team that's always, they don't mind winning 36 games. I think that's the problem is sometimes in the trade machine, we look and we go, why would a team do that trade? It doesn't really make them any better or worse. Portland is like, we don't care. We're willing to mix it up. We'll just be not better or worse. We'll be average. We'll get random guys. We love fun mixing up the combinations and just seeing what we have. They're just 1-year stands with all these guys, chat. It's really just, it is what it is. The Clippers, the Wolves, the Nuggets, the Lakers. I don't know. Are the Cavs an interesting Trae Young spot? I guess the Cavs just feel like a team that is both needing to make a move and not capable of making a lot of moves. So those are the kind of things that can make you trade for star players that you might not think you would necessarily trade for. But that doesn't seem like a bad team because, again, we have seen them have success as well, too, with maybe like, oh, is this a guard on the team that you could attack defensively? And then does Trae Young have higher playoff upside? And Darius Garland's had great playoff moments, some good playoff flashes as well, too, for sure. And they had well, I guess I'd have to go back and look at the stats. But, I don't think he's been like, okay, Darius, and with what we've seen from Julius Randle as well, too, it's not like you can write these guys off as playoff performers, obviously. But it's just to say that Trae Young, even in the regular season, has shown more upside stat stuff than Darius Garland has and more individual accomplishments. So maybe you just take the swing with it there, Chad. But Memphis, I don't know. For Trae Young and Ja? Trae Young for Bane? If we could get Bane to Cleveland, that could be interesting. I don't know if you bring in Bane for Garland and you're like, is that flipping our title odds? But it is a different type of player in the mix, so a different look is a good thing, potentially. And you do get maybe a little bit more versatile. I know Bane is not necessarily known for his defense, but it is a factor, and it is a factor that could be there more than necessarily Darius Garland. And maybe it's a side character like, Clark. They have those kind of front court guys. Conchar and Scottie Pippen, and it's just not going to be enough, Chad. It's like $8 million combined. Not going to swing it. Jaren Jackson, Chad. Trading centers for guards would be interesting. I'd really have to start thinking about, how do we feel about Zach Edey? But if you could get a Kongwu back in the deal, Chad, or they're getting a center back from Cleveland anyways. The problem is, again, Cleveland can't aggregate guys in the trade. So let's see if we get. Okay, chat. We're in workshop mode now. But hey, it's a 50-point game. So 40-point game almost. Hey, yo, chat. Are we just taking off early in the end of the third quarter? I don't know. This is wild, chat. This is wild. But shout out to Minnesota for really pouring it on tonight. Pause. But yeah, I guess anyways, back to the trade machine. This is what happens. Jaren Jackson, for a lot of us just reading out potential hypothetical scenarios, but welcome into Trade Machine Cook-Up Session, chat, on the REMINGTOM pod when the Minnesota Timberwolves are up by 40 in a playoff game. So let's just do a quick one here to see if they can aggregate guys in a deal. So it would have to be, I guess, again, not to necessarily say that these trades would be accurate, but just to see if the mechanics of this type of a deal would work. So could they trade one guy to the Grizzlies and another guy to the Hawks and then get back equal salaries to match? So he'll have to have the team option there. I guess we like our guy Veet in the trade machine chat, so let's get Veet on the Cavs as well, too. So Bane, Okongwu, and Veet for Jared Allen and Darius Garland. I mean, Darius Garland and Jared Allen is a lot to be trading. But, success. They can do this, chat. Okay, whoa! Oh, so you can't trade two players to the same team, but you can trade two players in the same trade overall. It just has to be to different teams. Okay, chat, so let's reset here and see what we actually got. Again, maybe these aren't the perfect teams, but this is how you launch out on the trade machine, chat. So who do we want to try to biasedly get on the team? We want to get, Jaren Jackson on the Cavs, maybe? Is Jaren Jackson going to win him a title over Jared Allen? And again, they're going to have to give up. Well, they wouldn't have to give up Garland in this situation, but if they were giving up just Jared Allen and a sign-and trade Ty Jerome to the Grizzlies, I don't know. This doesn't sound terrible. Again, they'd have to get a center. So what is Atlanta getting back in this deal as well, too? Okay. Screw it, chat. Let's try to get Trae Young on the Cavs. Why not? Seems like a good type of move. So sorry, Cavs fans. Let's go Trae Young. Oh, the Cavs fans. They're probably not going to be fans of this, chat. Cavs fans, what do you guys think? Are you guys pro us cooking up a Darius Garland for Trae Young deal? Do we even launch out? Is it even worth it? I guess maybe if we, how many future first-round protected picks are you going to get? And who knows, ultimately, like any deal, it does just depend on what you're giving up. But the name value stuff initially, I think Garland's still a pretty beloved guy in Cleveland right now. But does that mean Garland goes to the Hawks? Or is Garland going to the Grizzlies in this trade? Is Jaren Jackson going to the Hawks and Darius Garland going to the Grizzlies? Or is Garland just going to the Hawks? I guess, again, it's got to be a random third team in there anyway. So that we just got to find a third team to take $6 million back in salary somehow from the Cavs. So I guess, again, it is just the Dean Wade trade. So I guess now that we know that is possible, that does make things interesting because also, again, speaking of Simmons, chat, he did mention a Giannis for Mobley trade, which, again, cannot necessarily happen 1-for-1 because Giannis' contract is too much. And again, you can't trade multiple players to Milwaukee for Giannis. But could you bring in the third team? You'd have to bring in the third team. So not to try to get too lost into the weeds in trade mechanics here, but 59-97, Minnesota about to hit 100 points in the third quarter, chat. I mean, into the weeds we go. We just have to go forward on the overgrown trail, I guess. The overgrown trail. I don't know, chat. But so yeah, a third team to just, and Mobley for Giannis is a pretty good 1-for-1 again, but how many more pieces are you wanting to give up to another team? And if you're Milwaukee, how many other pieces are you willing to go buy as well too? You're probably gonna want the picks that you can get. So $15 million, they'd have to give up $15.4 million. So Strus is out of here, chat. They've got to essentially salary dump Strus to a third team to get Giannis. Milwaukee or Indiana, the problem is what team in the East is going to want to take Strus's contract to get Giannis on the Cavs? It would not necessarily guarantee him a title, of course, but him and Mitchell and Hunter and Allen is just a much, it's a pretty big boost of a roster around Giannis from what he has before. And especially if you're just losing Strus in this deal, because again, I don't think you have to give up too much elsewhere because Mobley is such a good building block piece going forward. I think he also had guys on his pod saying oh, we don't want Mobley, but grow up. Mobley's a great trade asset if Giannis is requesting a trade and asking to leave. Obviously, you're not shopping Giannis, but this is of course, Giannis trade aspect scenarios. If the Bucks fans don't want the Spurs package, which again, hey, if the Bucks fans think that's the best one at the end of the day, but when I was like, ooh, Mobley is pretty good, chat. I know one thing, Mobley is better than Vassell. Not to be a bad salesman, but just as a basketball fan trying to see what the best move would be, Mobley is a pretty good player. Is Mobley better than Dylan Harper? Is the question. Maybe a film thing that we could look into, chat, at some point. But who would take the Warriors? Do the Warriors have the salary space to just add in Max Strus? Could it be Max Strus? And I guess, there's really not a lot to go back. So I don't know. Guy Santos, the team option on Guy Santos. Quentin Post. Guy Santos is kind of decent though. I don't know. Guy Santos, 3 points a game, is gonna surprise you. So does this work? Guy Santos. Oh, wait a second. Where does Strus go? Strus is on the... Where'd he go, chat? Is he on the... Oh, yeah, we sent him... why am I not looking at him right in front of me? Trade to the Warriors. Here we go. Do they have... 11 million in the first apron. The Warriors might not be able to do this one, chat. This could be close. Oh, yeah, it is close for the Warriors. The Cavs are unable to complete this trade. The incoming salary is 51 million is matched using multiple outgoing players. Since they're over the second apron, they're not able to aggregate players in this trade. So why did it work for the last one, Chad? Is it just giving us this false thing because of the fact that or the failed thing because it fails for the Warriors as well too, so it's just failing the whole trade? But cut 11 million from the Warriors incoming trade. Oh, can only take back 4.6 in outgoing salary. The Warriors are unable to complete this trade since they are not over the apron. Sorry, Chad, again, we're in the weeds, but what do you do? And they are not sending out... Okay, wait, the Warriors are unable to complete this trade since they are not over the apron and they are sending out less than 7.5 in salary. They are only able to take back 200% plus 250. Oh, so you can't even just randomly acquire... You can't absorb a guy into your cap space? Or you can, they just don't have the tax space. It's first apron space that they would have. Okay, chat. So that's going to make this a little bit different. So it would have to be a team with cap space. So now I guess the Spurs are taking on Max Strus to send Giannis to the Cavs. But hey, I guess if we really love Dylan Harper in this situation at the end of the day, now I have to start talking myself into liking Dylan Harper, chat. Uh-oh. Get ready for that journey. That is crazy potential as well too. But either way, Chad, I guess let's just go back and look at the All-NBA teams because we'll be back to the trade machine in just a second for another little thing that I was thinking about. But yeah, All-NBA 25 first team. And Tatum now as well too, I guess we'll give him his due respect as a lead guy and see how many he has made in a row as well too. Okay, 3. So yeah, what did it say? 4 in a row for Tatum. Didn't make All NBA in 64 at all, and then 64 games played in 21-22. Yeah, he definitely didn't make All NBA in 64, chat, but made third team All NBA in 1920. So 1 third team, and then 4 first teams for our guy Tatum. So unfortunately, that's what the Achilles injury does for him as well too, Chad. There is that half-decade run, like we're saying, of him making All-NBA. So I guess in the technical aspect of it, like his consecutive seasons played, he could still be a first-team All-NBA guy because, again, he's not going to play next year in theory unless he's back for just a couple end-of-the-season games for some reason. And then he would mess up all the legacy stuff. So if anything, Tatum, just take the year off. Don't rush it. Don't be back in the regular season for 9 games. There's no reason to do that. Just let the team tank and get a good pick or something. But for him, he could still go 5 seasons played for All-NBA. I guess it just wouldn't be 5 literal seasons in a row where he has gotten that accomplishment. But still, the basic half decade, and not to say that we wouldn't have expected him, again, with this history, to make All-NBA next year. So to have this half-decade run, I mean, with what he has accomplished in the playoffs, chat, and with the All-NBAs, he is, of course, if we're going first-team All-NBA for just the half-decade, again, him and Jokic and Giannis have been the 3 most consistent guys in making those lists since the 2020s. And they all 3 have won a title as well, too. And I guess Tatum is the only one of them that hasn't won the league MVP. But Tatum has just had more playoff games played than those guys as well, too. He's made bigger playoff advances than those guys have in this half decade as well. So it really does set his legacy up for an interesting, defining guy of the 2020s in a way. And, of the Eastern Conference as well, too. Like him and Giannis have just consistently been at the top. And Jimmy Butler as well, too. With the regular season stuff, didn't have the same accolades the way that Tatum and Giannis have. But, of course, is right there in all of the playoff conversations with those guys as well, too. And he's actually, I guess, Tatum's made 2 finals and won 1. Butler's made 2 and hasn't won 1 yet. And then Giannis has made 1. But, again, still only made 1. So 4 teams for Tatum for first team All-NBA. Second team All-NBA, Brunson, Steph, Edwards, LeBron, Mobley is the second team. Brunson and Edwards have each been second team for second straight season. Curry, this is his 11th All-NBA second, in general. James extended his record, and Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, makes his All-NBA debut, of course. So this might be, in general, for the Cavs. Is this the first time they've had two players on an All-NBA team? Did they have like a Mark Price, Brad Daugherty All-NBA season back in the day? I guess we're underrating 2016, chat. LeBron and Kyrie. LeBron and Kyrie probably, or, that era of the Cavs, not just 2016 season in general. But that era, the LeBron run, we're probably underrating Kyrie. Did Kevin Love make a third team All-NBA on one of those seasons? I don't know if that happened. But for 16-17, LeBron All-NBA, no Kyrie. So Kyrie didn't make All-NBA that many times, chat. How many All-NBAs has our guy Kyrie had? 3 times he's been All-NBA. So early, 14-15, 18-19 in Boston, and then in Brooklyn 2021. So 14-15, chat. The first season LeBron was there, I guess he was on All-NBA. So, yeah, third team All-NBA and LeBron first team All-NBA. So, Mitchell and Mobley are LeBron and Kyrie, chat. Is that the potential possibility? Hasn't necessarily worked out that way in the playoffs, unfortunately for him. But other than that run, obviously, there's going to be a long history of Cavs guys not making All-NBA runs here. But 90s, did Sean Kemp make any All-NBAs on the Cavs? I think he made those only for the Sonics. Richmond, Schrempf, Penny Hardaway, no Cavs guys yet. Petrovic, Derek Coleman, not quite. Here we go, chap. Daugherty, third-team All-NBA in 91-92. And Mark Price, also third-team All-NBA in 91-92 as well, too. So I'm guessing Daugherty might have just made the one All-NBA in his career. Yeah, 5-time All-Star, but one-time third-team All-NBA, 21.5 a game that year, 21 and 10, and a block a game as well, too, and 73 games played. So unfortunately got healthy, the last run here. After multiple years of fighting through injury, 4 years of fighting through injury, got to 20 and 10 a game, and then got hurt again, and unfortunately just wasn't able to return. But put Daugherty in the Hall of Fame, chat. Put Daugherty in the shortened career Hall of Fame. He was on pace. He would put up some good numbers. 20 and 10. He would have been in that range for a long time and had a good run and been just a good stats. Multiple All-Stars, a couple more All-NBAs, I'm sure, chat. Lock it in. I don't think Larry Nance, the dad, ever made any All-NBAs. I don't think Craig Elo ever made an All-NBA as well, too. Yeah, Mark Price was probably 2 times. There we go, chat. 4 times. Mark Price, 4-time All-NBA. Wow. Almost a half decade. So Mark Price, borderline Hall of Famer, chat. He's getting there. If he had just made, again, the conference finals, just one conference finals, I know Mitchell a little more dynamic with the numbers. So his legacy is probably going to be a little bit higher ranked than Mark Price would be my guess. But in their respective roles, of course, could both be equally as impactful for multiple teams. And in 92, 93, he did make a first team, if I'm reading that correctly. Him and Jordan first team. So Dumars and Stockton on second team, and Hardaway Jr. and Petrovic on third team. Those are all guys that I would have drafted over Mark Price in a scenario, but he was better than all those guys. I'm guessing MJ was actually the best guard in the league this year, just a guess that I'm having. But Mark Price, I guess, second best guard in the league. Outside of Michael Jordan. That doesn't get talked about, Chad. Third team, maybe a second team in here, or just 3. Yeah, 3 third teams, so 88, 89. And then we go 91, 92, and then first team in 92, 93, third team in 93, 94. Daugherty, just the 91, 92 season, like we said, made All-NBA. And then in 98, 99, there would have been no other Cavs making the only be that team. But our guy Dale Ellis on All-NBA as well, too. So the guards that year, Magic and Michael on first team, Kevin Johnson and John Stockton on second team, and then Dale Ellis and Mark Price on third team. Terry Cummings, on third team forward. Tom Chambers, second team forward that year. Hey, shout out to Tom Chambers. Tom Chambers, two-time All-NBA? Did he make 2 or 3? How many times was our guy Tom Chambers top 15, chat? Two-time All-NBA, 4-time All-Star. 25 and 27 a game. And Phoenix was balling out. The title years, dropped off a little bit more. And then the title itself really dropped off, chat. But, yeah, shout out to Mark Price. Wait, let's go back and look at Mark Price here real quick as well, too, chat. And just double check. Oh, whoa. Mark Price not playing with Hal Greer. Yeah, here we go. Mark Price, first team All-NBA, the 92-93 season next to MJ. 18 a game, 41% from 3, 18 and 8 in a steal, and 48-41, 94% for the free throw line. So in the midst of just an amazing shooting stretch. And he was a 50-40-90 guy. Yeah, 90 and 88-89 that third team All-NBA season that first time. 10th in MVP voting that year. 19 a game, and then in the 50-40-90 club, 8.4 assists. So for his career, I guess 6.5 assists, but the peak of his powers here, he was 8 to 9 a game almost. We could go this other season where he was like 16 and 6, and he was playing 32 minutes a game that year-ish. But from 87 to 93, he was 17 and 8 and 49% from the field, 41% from 3, 91% from the free throw line. And like we said, literally a first-team All-NBA. So that year he was 8th in MVP voting, but first-team All-NBA. So that's kind of the guard-to-guard thing, I guess. But still over a bunch of those other guards as well with those numbers. 17 and 10. 16 games played this year, so not going to qualify for much. But just to double-check MVP voting, yeah, a lot of front court guys. Barkley, Hakeem, MJ, Pat Ewing, Dominique Wilkins, David Robinson, Shaq, Karl Malone, and then Mark Price both tied. 10 points overall, no first place votes. Doherty, Clyde, Joe Dumars, Sean Kemp, John Stockton. Wait, so our guy Dominique, because Dominique's going for the forward spot. So Barkley and Malone got the forward spots, and then Dominique at 30 a game that year. I was going to say Dominique would have to be first team. There's no way Dominique, if he's that high in MVP voting, if he got out MVP voted over Mark Price by 3 spots, and then Mark Price got first team All-NBA over him, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, he wouldn't have been a shooting guard that year, I guess. Would have been listed more as a small forward. But still got outed by Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. Karl Malone, 27 and 11, 52% for the field. Dominique Wilkins, 29, 6, 6.8 rebounds, 46% from the field. Utah, probably a pretty good regular season team this year. Him and Stockton, a couple of years under their belt together at this point. 47 and 35. Dominique, is this a little older Dominique as well? Dominique, okay, 33, not retirable. 43 and 39. So just a couple of wins off again. So just constant Western Conference bias, of course, throughout the course of NBA history. It's just what it is, chat. Larry Johnson is the other second-team forward. So, yeah, Larry Johnson's a little bit of a drop-off. I'm sure he had a good year this year, but my guess is just a little bit of a drop-off between him and Dominique. Pippen on the Bulls, and then Derek Coleman on third-team All-NBA. David Robinson, third-team All-NBA center. The Hakeem Ewing David Robinson battles, of course, legendary. Shaq, a rookie Shaq, missing the mark at 23 and 14, chat. Jeez, I guess, yeah, 20 years old, had to have been a rookie. Danny Manning, 22 and 6. Dan Marley, 17 and 4. Sean Kemp, 18 and 7. Detlef Schrempf, 19 and 9. Reggie Lewis, Kevin Johnson. Chad, it's just fun reading old names sometimes. Mookie Blaylock, getting some MVP votes. Charles Smith, Steve Smith, Rod Strickland, Otis Thorpe got an All-NBA vote as well, too. So, the writers were having fun. Everybody was voting All-NBA. Nobody was watching all the games, so people were just voting for, like, of the 6 teams I covered this year and watched games of, here is who I think should be on the All-NBA. And then the truly transcendent ones, I guess, were the ones that were the consensus favorites over all these guys. But, yeah, Mark Price, I guess, sneaking onto a first-team All-NBA lineup, another historical NBA would you rather? All-NBA would you rather? Dominique Wilkins versus Mark Price. If we had the choice, chat. If we had the choice. Brunson, a couple of second teams as well, too, is pretty impressive. But let's take a quick break, chat. Fourth quarter is underway. I guess we're not really taking a break for the sake of the game, but quick IT timeout. We will be back. More All-NBA. And there's another trade segment that I want to look at as well, too, before we get out of here. So don't go anywhere, chat. Little Saturday night hang, even though the NBA is not that fun. The Remington Pod is the place to be. Whoa, there we are, chat. Testing 1, 2, 3. We are back. Brunson, Curry, Edwards. Yeah, we mentioned on second team All-NBA. Oh, wait a second here. Let me get the earbuds in real quick. Oh, the earbud little thing was turned inside out there. Up. Yeah, Brunson now a couple of second team All-NBAs. Edwards, Steph. I guess who went farther in the playoffs this year? The second team or I guess a little bit of both, chat, because Towns and Halliburton both, and I guess Jalen Williams as well, too, both in conference finals, along with Brunson and Edwards, and nobody from first team. I guess Shea, chat. Shea is the only person for first team All-NBA, actually, in the conference finals, and with a chance to win, and he is the one that got the MVP as well, too, so, hey, it's a good thing that is all aging well. How many All-NBAs for Brunson at this point? Because Brunson, I mean, people are starting to call him the best player in Knicks history. He just really hitting beloved status at this point. 2 All-Stars, 2 one-time All-NBA. So this is only his second All-NBA appearance as well, too. So, again, Mitchell has had a little bit more regular season dominance. At this point, just a couple more seasons than Brunson, but Brunson's had some insane playoffs. And I guess, obviously this one, back-to-back 30 points per game for his playoff run. 27, 32, and 30. So these last 3 seasons in New York, I guess what would his New York average be there? But, 30.3 a game. 45% from the field, 33% from 3. We got 7 assists a game on here as well, too, chat. So 30-7 in how many playoff games? 38. Can we do like a span finder? Chat, we're just going to commit to in the weeds, random rabbit trails, random stats lookups. It doesn't matter. It's a 40-point game. The playoff game is over. There's nothing. Edwards was good in the whatever. I don't know. We go stat check here with... there's only 5 minutes left. Thank goodness, chat. Holy cow. Maybe we'll be out of our misery soon, I guess. But Edwards did get to 30. Okay, Edwards got to 30. 5 for 8. Julius Randle, 2 for 5 from the field. From 3. 9 for 15 from the field, 24 points. McDaniels, kind of an okay game. 10 points, 2 for 4 from 3. Josh Minoit, off the bench now, has 3 minutes. Naz Reid, he missed one shot and they brought him out, Chad. He was 2 for 2 there for a second. 2 for 3 to end the game. Yeah, not much more bench production from those guys. Just kind of starters. And then, the next wave of bench guys was probably this Josh Minoit. Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon, 5 for 8, 1 for 3 here, chat. So, his attacking when the rest of the guys are in the game is not too bad. But maybe when you bring him in and you're still running the starters, maybe not him as option 1 is what you want. But we finally see Dillingham as well, too, in this series. I guess we could look up and watch and just see what's going on, chat. But I don't even want to watch. It's disastrous. But Chet with 10. Shea with 14. 4 for 13 from the field. Jalen Williams, 13. Jalen Williams off the bench, 2. Dylan Jones, 5. Kendrick Williams, 6. Caruso, what was Caruso? Caruso, 1 for 3 from 3. Isaiah Joe, 0 for 5. So not really helping his long-term case for making the lineup. Wiggins, 1 for 3 as well, too. Not really feeling it. Cason Wallace didn't even take a shot in 16 minutes. That's how you know he was cold, chat. He just wasn't even feeling like shooting. That's crazy. Hey, yo, wait, what? Pause. But, yeah, Brunson now, second team All-NBA, back-to-back seasons for a New York Knick. Yeah, just 2 seasons, I guess, yeah, 2 All-NBAs. So Carmelo, to bring Carmelo back into this chat, I know Carmelo's not the go-to, you know, is this the next guy he's chasing in terms of Knicks legacy? I think he might already have kind of got him at this point, unfortunately. But Melo was second and third in New York. He didn't make All-NBA in 2010, 2011. Why didn't Melo make All-NBA in 2010-11? 77 games played, 25 points a game. Were people holding the trade against him that bad, chat? Okay, that's the All-Star game. I guess Melo's got a weird All-NBA career. Why is Melo bouncing around some of these All-NBAs, chat? He's not just a lock third-team guy every year. Because, again, even in... Oh, there we go. We had to close it out, of course, at some point, chat. Let's see. Get the camera back. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Oh, where'd it go, chat? Where'd it go? Oh, I don't want to look it up on Google. No, I actually want to open up the app and get the camera loaded. Okay, wait. Did I just open the camera up on the screen? Yeah, there we go, chat. I'll get it X'd off. Trade machine and stats. And what we're looking at, Carmelo Anthony. Back to go. There we go, chat. 28 a game in 12-13 was the best point per game performance, but the 2011-10 season was the one we were looking at with the no All-NBA. So the All-NBA the year before that, just to tap into the voting. But if we actually went to that season itself and saw the teams, I imagine he was like the first guy not on the list. Third, 53 votes. Rondo was 68 votes. 68 points, yeah. Paul Pierce, 55. Carmelo Anthony, 53. Kevin Love, 48. Tim Duncan didn't even make All-NBA this year. 43. So they needed a fourth-team All-NBA this year of Rondo, Pierce, Melo, K. Love, and Tim Duncan. Blake Griffin, Tony Parker, Kevin Garnett. So back when people say the league wasn't stacked, chat, the league was pretty stacked. So third-team All-NBA this year, Chris Paul, LaMarcus Aldridge, Ginobili, Zach Randolph, and Horford. Zach Randolph and Horford over Carmelo Anthony. So Chris Paul, of course, 16-9. Charlotte, I imagine, was like randomly winning 60 games this year. Oh, 46. Okay, so Chris Paul, is he hovering in the tier? Probably not. Third-team All-NBA makes sense. LaMarcus, though, 21-8, 50% from the field exactly. Portland, 48-34. Zach Randolph, 20 a game, 12 rebounds. It's got to be up there amongst the league leaders. I think second highest on this list anyways compared to Derrick Rose. Oh, Kevin Love at 15 down here as well too. So maybe third in the league in rebounds, plus 20 a game. And Memphis as well too, 46-36. So yeah, Minnesota must have been kind of bad this year, chat. Kevin Love definitely must have not have been translating it into wins if that's what was happening. 17-65. That would make sense. Because those numbers are definitely, of course, all NBA numbers. He's leading the league in rebounding and putting up 20 points a game. Oh, wait, what happened to our Pluto, chat? You think if anything would give up, it would, I guess the Thunder already did, but the Pluto gave up first? A minute 40 left. Here we go, chat. We're in the final stretch. We can't lose our pain and gain. Pain and Gain, I guess it does go in the crime movies. I think Pain and Gain runs on a lot of the channels. I think does it run in action, runs in drama, runs in runs in everything, chat. Ayo. Pain and Gain, a multi-genre movie, I think, is how it gets remembered. But yeah, Carmelo, like we said this year, 25-7, 45-37, efficient from the three-point line as well too. A pretty efficient overall offensive game. Boston, of course, with two guys that are going to be in the mix there, and I'm sure their regular season was pretty good as well, too. 56 and 26. But again, speaking of fatigue, these guys have been around so long, Chad. I get Rondo was a little bit younger. Yeah, 24. Paul Pierce, 33. Kevin Garnett, 34. Darren Williams, I guess, traded this year as well, too, Chad. But Horford, I guess Horford's always had the defensive things going for him. 44 and 38. So what was Carmelo's teams this year? Let's see. We have Amari on the Knicks making second team. So Amari got the Knicks love. 42 and 40. Amari played how many games for the Knicks? Amari played 78. Carmelo only played 27. Scored 26 a game for New York. 26 a game on 46% from the field. Amari 25 and I was going to say 18 rebounds. Wait, but 25 and 8 and 50% from the field is not bad as well too. 28-year-old Amari, but I mean Melo's right there, and then with what he did in Denver. Is there a Denver guy here where we can click on the team? Oh, Nene, chat. Shout out Nene. Getting some All-NBA votes. Denver was 50 and 32. So Denver, I probably won some games without Carmelo Anthony, and people were like, oh, do they need him, chat? Is that going to hurt his All-NBA votes? But, I mean, he's 25 a game in Denver, 45% of the field, 25 and 7. So, I mean, basically pretty consistent 26 a game scorer the entire season. Probably should have been third team All-NBA that year as well too. So I guess there's one retroactive year where Carmelo Anthony was wrongfully robbed of a All-NBA spot just at the peak of his powers. Also, no, okay, 08-09 he was there. See, again, 25 points a game in 07-08. 77 games played. 49% from the field. 13th in NBA voting. And yet he can't find himself on an All-NBA team. 26 points a game. He's third team All-NBA that year. But All-NBA, third team, Ginobili again, Carlos Boozer, Paul Pierce, Tracy McGrady, and Yao Ming. Okay, chat, this one is pretty stacked. I'm not going to lie. Ginobili, T-Mac, and Paul Pierce is going to be pretty difficult to argue against as a combination. You got Iverson in Denver as well, too. Also receiving more votes than Carmelo. So see, chat, there's a clear bias. It's like everybody likes the guys on Melo's team more than Melo as well, too. Iverson's clearly putting up good numbers, but I think Melo still, even with as good as Amari was there, and there's still a forward, him flying around versatility thing that he has that you could argue Melo doesn't provide as well, too. But Melo's scoring, late game shot making is still he's still sort of the leader and the emotional swagger guy, the star face of the team. So, just because you're the face of the team, it doesn't mean you get more All-NBA votes. But it means that there's a different pressure on Carmelo Anthony. It means there's a different focus on Carmelo Anthony. And it means he's delivering under different circumstances, chat. So, this was this the year that Denver was in the Western Conference Finals as well? This is the year where he was actually impacting the team as a playoff team. Oh, this is where they lost to the Lakers. They were losing to the Lakers a couple of times. Maybe the next year they lose to the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. This year they lost them in the first round, unfortunately. But Kobe, chat, lost to the MVP of the league. Amari 6th in MVP voting, and then again, Melo still getting more MVP votes than Carlos Boozer, but Antoine Jamison also got an MVP vote, and he didn't make an All-NBA team as well either, so I guess it's not totally fair for everybody. But Marcus Camby with 59, Chauncey Billups with 38, Baron Davis with 32, David West with 24, Rasheed Wallace 22. Yeah, these guys probably more honorable mention. Joe Johnson, only 8, 21 points a game, 43% of the field. Chris Bosh, 22, 49 and 40. Chris Bosh, almost a 50, 40, 85 guy. Underrated. Chris Bosh, he is in the Hall of Fame, right? He's got to be. He's like 11 All-Stars in his career. Yeah. You make a decade of All-Stars, you're not going to be in the Hall of Fame. But 11 All-Stars to 1 All-NBA is kind of a crazy ratio, chat. Second team All-NBA, 06-07. I mean, this is another guy. Do we go retroactively and go how many times year over year was Chris Bosh not a top 15 guy in the NBA? Like, what is this ridiculousness? I guess, you know, from 10 to 15, of course, he was in a different role on the team, so his importance was in a different spot. But he's still 18 a game and 49%. I feel like now we're so conscious of team success as well, too, that we'd be more focused on rewarding a guy like Chris Bosh in a team that is successful as well, too. Like, I feel like we just have to give Miami 3 All-Stars. I guess they were getting All-Stars, but 3 All-NBA guys as well, too. I mean, he's 12th in MVP voting in 9-10 at 24 a game. That's his best scoring season of his career. 50% from the field that year, 36% from 3. So the 7-8 season, chat, we might honestly have to put some historic Chris Bosh games on the watch list. Uh-oh. The basketball event is over, chat. Is there a post-game? Oh! I just exited off. Pain and Gain! No! Go back. Oh, Barbershop is also on at the same time. Oh, well, chat. Oh, The Dictator is also on? Hey, yo, chat. How did we say that? But I haven't seen that in a minute either. Ah, nah, Pain and Gain. We got to stick with Pain and Gain, chat, since we've committed this long. Wait, can we... Pluto's free, so it's not going to streaming limit us. We can go double Pluto? Chat, we haven't done that yet. Double Pluto. Hey, yo, pause. Pain and Gain on one screen and... What did we just say? Oh, chat, I already forgot. It wasn't Barbershop. I'm thinking of Barbershop. What do we have here? Oh, The Dictator. Sacha Baron Cohen. And really, obviously, the one that is the legendary one, of course, is Borat. So if we could throw on Borat on the second screen, I think that'd be ideal. But I guess nothing too crazy, because it's not like, you know, we got another game to watch here. But we gotta have something, chat. There's gotta be something. Just to make sure we're combing the sports world for everything. WNBA wrapped up as well too. Combing the sports world for everything, as we have Pain and Gain on one of the TVs. But you know, it's that time of the year. Plus, right now we just got that the event has ended ESPN sound on in the back, so we've got to switch that. What is this? Do we throw on some international basketball just because? What even is this? New Zealand? The Auckland Tirata versus the Wellington Saints? What? The Tuatara? What are Tuatara, chat? Tuatara? I don't even know. The Wellington Saints, I mean, I think we can picture what that is. Wait, is it halftime? Is this rugby? Oh, this might be rugby, chat. What have we gotten ourselves into? I thought this was the NBL. I want to see some Breakers basketball. Okay, what is a Tuatara? I think I got that right. Let me see. Unless it's just the team. A species of reptile endemic to New Zealand. Despite its close resemblance to lizards, it's actually the only extant member of a distant lineage. Previously highly diverse order Rhinophalia. I don't, you know, some. The name Tutora derived from something named Peaks on. Spoiler alert, chat. What do we got? Peaks on the back? Hey, yo, whoa. Whoa. Single extant species of Tuatara. So this is a Tuatara, chat? So this rugby team is the Auckland Tuatara? So are there lots of Tuataras in Auckland? What's Auckland? Do we need to look that up? We need to honestly just look up how to watch some NBL. Let's see if there's any NBL on here. The Remin Sam Pod, lead NBL guys. Oh, you know what else, chat? We could fire up some UFA probably. A little Ultimate Frisbee? Bring back Ultimate Frisbee corner, chat. It's that time of the year. It's about time to fire it back up. I mean, do we have to let the season get warmed up? We got to make sure that the Alley Cats are gonna. Oh, don't worry, chat. We know who our favorite team is. We got to make sure that the Alley Cats are, you know, in full force before we start bragging about it. You know, we don't want to get over our skis. Australian A-League men. Yeah, I think that's rugby, chat. Is it just all in the basketball tab here? We haven't navigated. Oh, here we go. Here's some international stuff. Franklin Bulls versus the Taranaki Airs. Oh, that's a replay. This is also a replay. Oh no, this is basketball, chat. The Auckland Tuatara versus the Wellington Saints. Okay. For some reason, the basketball graphic on one of the background things looked like not a basketball, but they cut to a basketball court. So here we go. Okay, chat. You didn't expect a little Auckland Tuatara. Is this actually live or is this a replay? Now I'm in old man phase. Is this live? Are the kids playing in Australia right now? Is it nighttime over there? Let me see, but I would assume that it was recommending it us because it's actually on. And I mean, what time is it in Australia, chat? I'm at it's on the other side of the world, so 12-hour difference. We're looking at live chat. Here we go. The Wellington Saints. Do we need to chat? I'm guessing this is the NBL. Since again, we had a 50-point deficit, 40-point game, a blowout. Sorry to the Thunder fans for I guess not even sorry to the Thunder fans, but sorry to the NBA fans that tuned in that aren't Thunder fans that had to watch the Thunder be that disappointing tonight. Because that was a waste of time, chat. A waste of time. NBL standings? Are we near the end or the beginning of the NBL season? Okay, we're into it, chat. Hey, yo. We are into it. Play-in tournament? They've also got a play-in tournament. Oh, maybe this isn't the NBL. What are we watching? Or is this a different conference? Mitsubishi Motor Ladders? So what league are the Wellington Saints in? Sal's NBL? It literally says Sal's NBL. Am I just not seeing them? Okay, there's the Breakers. Where's Tuatara, chat? Where is... Oh, wait. Okay, so Auckland Tuatara. We got to find this team and figure out what league we're watching, chat. I know a guy at work that's probably watching this right now betting on it because he's the most degenerate gambler that I know. And he will definitely bet on the most random sports that you've heard of. But Auckland Tour, founded in 2018, was the first ever basketball franchise in New Zealand's history. Its tour expanded into basketball. So league and New Zealand National Basketball League. It's in the NBL? Or is this a different New Zealand National Basketball League? Oh, the NBL is the Australian Basketball League. The NZNBL. Okay. See, we're learning, chat. We're learning. Hopefully, we're not causing too much controversy by mixing this stuff up. But I was like, who is Sal? Who is this Sal guy? That's Sal's Authentic New York Pizza sponsors an entire basketball league? So it literally is Sal's NBL, chat. Sal's Authentic New York Pizza New Zealand Basketball League. Hey, yo. Could the Sam Pod sponsor the New Zealand Basketball League? Do we got to add that to the wish list, chat? Get a couple of channels programming on Tubi and sponsor the NBL at some point. Sam Plus's New Zealand Basketball League. Could be pretty interesting. The Wellington Saints, chat, are 9-4. Second in the league. To the Auckland Tuatara, maybe they're taking a little bit. Not quite as bad as the Otago Nuggets at 2-11. Tough season for Nuggets fans all the way around, I guess. Southland Sharks, 5-7. The Nelson Giants, 3-10. I like that team name because that just sounds like a person almost. Nelson Giant could play for that team. Auckland Tuatara honestly sounds like a name as well too. I mean, Tuatara sounds a little bit like a combination, a little like Tet McMillan from the NFL draft, so maybe that rings a bell a little bit there. Hawke's Bay Hawks is kind of crazy. Franklin Bulls also in it. I mean, Wellington Saint could be a person as well too. Wellington Saint's probably more of an owner than a player. Canterbury Ram maybe is a golf buddy of Wellington Saint. Auckland Tuatara, Wellington Saint, and Canterbury Ram. I think these are all guys that hang out together, chat, at the country club. But they're also names of basketball teams, apparently, as well, too. So, Canterbury Rams. I guess we could look at the Wellington Saints. Click over to the Wellington Saints, quick. Multiple times. Spam it. Break the computer. We changed our mind. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, we got it, chat. Wellington Saints. What would be points for... I guess you guys didn't expect... NBL deep dive. But here we go, chat. Here we go. They don't want to give us stats. They just want to give us just the love of the game, chat. Maybe I respect it. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the success of the team. That's not important. Just enjoy the highlights. Enjoy the best of the best. Enjoy what's going on. Let's go league leaders and see what we got going for National Basketball League. William Hickey from Auckland to Tara. So we got the leading scorer in the NBL in this game, chat. What number is William Hickey? We can't quite see the names in the back of the jerseys. Maybe it's the guy that... Oh, no, the Wellington Saints player just hit the pull-up jumper there. William Hickey? No number? The NBL really needs to give us better information on some of these guys. We could just cross-reference on the roster real quick. Where is Hickey, chat? Who looks like a Hickey? Hey, yo. Oh, here we go. Will Davo Hickey? Guard. Still won't let us know what number he is on the team. I mean, the NBO really does have some basic things they need to clean up. But shout out to Hickey for leading the league in scoring. Nobody from the Wellington Saints is up here, but maybe that just shows they're a balanced team. A couple of assists, an assist leader here. Oh, a couple, yeah. Sean Bruce and Isaiah Mario Laafa. Chat, I'm not making that up. I think that's how you say that. Isaiah Mario Laafa. I kind of like the way Mario is spelled there. But Wellington Saints, him and Sean Bruce, both at 5.5 assists a game. Luca Yates. Caleb Asbury leading the league in steals per game. Dante Russo-Nance. Average blocks. Oh, Wellington Saints as well, too. A defensive team. Nicholas Mazinski. 2.5 blocks a game for our guy Zin. We're going to call him the Zin, chat. Zin Pack? Something like that? I don't know. But Liam Judd. 49% from 3. Somebody get Liam Judd in the NBA. Who is this guy? What's a combine measurement on Liam Judd? How many threes is he taking per game? 3-point attempts, 4, and he's making 2. 26 minutes. Maybe he's, if he was more athletic, he'd probably be getting more run. But speaking of Sean Bruce, chat, Sean Bruce assisting and playmaking. Who knew that the Remington pod would be watching? We're scouting out. We're really trying to build this Spurs team up, chat, from the couch. Watching random NBL games, scouting out Sean Bruce. What do we got? 47% from 3. 34 minutes a game. 47% from 2. How many over? Oh, 17 a game. So 17 and 5. 4 rebounds a game. He's not the most physical player at all. But we got some total here as well, too. Who leads the league in fouls? Who's the Draymond Green? Naquante Hardy for the Franklin Bulls. Tobias Cameron. Scott Telfair. Liam Judd, again, getting some fouls. Naquante Hardy. Do they have technical foul leaders on here? Ejection leaders. Index of success. Now, this is a stat we might need in the NBA. Forget all the advanced stats, chat. Let's just reduce it down to one stat. Index of success. Josiah Aulick, 300.5. Who even knows what that means? 305 point what? Who cares? His index of success is the best in the league. Right one spot over. Who was the guy? Another friend of ours? Oh, no. Hiram Harris? Okay, we don't know him, chat. Nicholas Mazinski, this impact. He's up there as well, too. Oh, Nicholas Marshall. So, yeah, a balanced team here in the Wellington Saints, chat. 3 guys. Speaking of Hiram Harris, up there as well, too. Jack Andrew from the Tenarchy Airs. Donald Carey Jr. Chad, this is fun. You just got to love basketball. But the Wellington Saints, I guess they are the better team, so they're out to play. The Auckland to Toro. Hopefully they don't let this game get out of hand quickly, chat. But what else are we looking at here for all NBA? Brunson Mobley making all NBA, starting his run. Mentioned him a little bit in the Giannis stuff, of course. And Curry, chat, I mean, along with LeBron, like we said, this could be. I think Curry has a better chance to make All NBA than LeBron in the regular season. I think mostly because, of course, LeBron has Luka now, so LeBron is not even hopefully going to be needed in the. I say hopefully, with respect of them setting themselves up for playoff success. Hopefully, they're not going to need him and rely on him in the regular season the same way that they will. But of course, the Warriors will still rely on Steph much more than the Warriors rely on LeBron. So he might need to be an All NBA regular season guy anyways, just for them to be in the mix. But I mean, of course, this is incredible now too, and he's gonna have Tatum's gonna have, of course, the Steph-like thing, that kind of accolades break in the middle there. But Steph did have the 5 games registered played, and it's true that those 5 games, it was like, oh, Steph, he's a little off to start, not perfect for our guy Steph Curry through those first 5, but again, Steph Curry, so he was fine. MVP the next year, almost 32 a game, but he is first team All NBA 1, 2, 3, 4 times, chat. So, we were talking about the Steph LeBron dynamic of how close are these guys actually in NBA history, and they are obviously pretty close. But again, like we're saying, those are the little separating factors. LeBron has made how many first team All NBAs, and almost a decade more than Steph Curry's alone. Just again, not everybody makes first team All NBA every year of their career, so 5 first team All NBAs is a great spot to be in. He's had like 2 other careers worth of All NBAs than Steph Curry has at this point. Like, it has to matter in some way, but still, Curry gets the 5 mark for the first team. He gets to now, let's see here, 11 All-NBAs total, chat. 11 All-NBAs total. Again, a little mix of second and thirds there, especially the last couple. So now this will be 4 seasons in a row where he is not on first team, though he was really close this year, of course. That 32-point-a-game was the last time he was first team. So one first team this decade, anyways, is a good checkpoint for his career to be able to lock one of those up in the 2020s. But yeah, I mean, of course, Curry's legacy is, of course, just only continuing to get solidified. Mobley, great young start, of course, to his career as well, too. Harden, Tyrese Halliburton, Cade Towns, and Jalen Williams on third team. So this might be where we have to start getting into the votes to see who could have even been an honorable mention as well, too, because, again, Mobley with the Cavs success of the regular season, Jalen Williams with the Thunder success of the regular season, it's difficult for them not to have, you would think it would be difficult for them not to have multiple All-NBA guys on the roster this year. But, and I guess, will they have the All-NBA voting in here as well, too? Let's go back to where we were at, because we've lost track of our pages here, chat. We were on All-NBAs at one point. Were we not? Oh, well. We'll go back to it via the awards page here, chat, real quick. And then we can just look at the voting for... Oh, not going to quite have it up for this year. So I guess we're not going to know who the honorable mentions are for this year quite yet, chat. I guess, wait, this was last year, 24-25 voting? Here we go. Let's see if it's up. It's going to give us MVP, rookie, defensive, 6-man, most improved, clutch, coach. Okay, it doesn't quite have All-NBA on here as well, too. Derek White got 3 MVP votes. Kamara got 4 MVP votes. Oh, defensive player of the year. We're not scrolled up. Brunson, Harden got an MVP vote. Mobley did get an MVP vote as well, too. Edwards with 12. Curry with 2. Brunson with 1. Cade with 12. LeBron, like we said, was 16 in that 4th spot. So let's just go stats here then and see who would be an easy guy to remember as a potential snub. Because, again, after the playoffs, Cade upped his stock as a guy in the playoffs, a young player. Of course, Halliburton continues to solidify his spot. So Harden was a guy that was in the mix. I guess Kawhi, what was Kawhi's games played this year? Did he even play enough? I even doubt it would, but to be honest, again, with the way they played in the Game 7 and with Kawhi just not being that big of a regular season presence for this half-decade run, it's honestly kind of like, do we need to, but he's just not always the first name that you're, like, ready to put on some of this award stuff as well. So yeah, he's not even in the official listing here as well. If we go the non-qualifier version, maybe he's just a little lower than we expected. Oh yeah, I guess he only played 37 games in the regular season this year, Chad. Are we on the right year? Yeah. Only 37 games this year. So there's no way he would have qualified anyways. Sabonis, I guess, as well too, just as an individual. Luka with 50 games played doesn't qualify. Davis doesn't qualify. Wemby doesn't qualify. So they're good there. LeBron's in. I guess Zubats, if we're looking at PER. Brunson. Duran, like we said, was in the mix. Sengun. Houston had a chance for sure. Houston, there was a point in the season that if they had, I think, finished as, well, did they actually get the 2 seed, chat? I think they did get the 2 seed. But I think the records were just a little bit closer than they were at one point there. Second in NBA Western Conference, yet 2 seed at 52 and 30. The 3 seed was 50, 50, 50, 48, 48. So yeah, of course, the 3 through the 8 was more of the cluster in the Western Conference. But the Rockets didn't quite set themselves so far apart of it that it felt like they needed to be, locked in with all this stuff. But I mean, he was definitely in the mix as well too. So could he have been on over Harden? Could he have been on over Towns? I mean, you're not going to put him on over Cade, and you're not going to put him on over Halliburton, I guess, as well too, because if you're awarding an individual with the team success as a tie-breaking factor in the All-NBA conversation, the Pacers team was a pretty good team in the Eastern Conference this year, so their argument goes the same in that direction as well too. So both Cade and Halliburton are kind of safe in that way, chat. And Sengun's a tough one, chat, because again, you have to think, do you reward the Cavs with multiple players like Mobley, and he's Defensive Player of the Year, so he is better on one side of the court than maybe Sengun is on offense, But Sengun is definitely first up for the snubs as well too. I guess both of the Phoenix guys, I guess with Durant and Booker, just the individual stats that you would look at for them, could definitely have them in the mix. But their way with their team, of course, they weren't going to have anybody. Maybe Franz only at 60 games played. Would not have been eligible. And I guess Durant at 62, he wouldn't even have made it that way as well. Valanciunas, 81. Vooch at 73. You're going to go Vooch. Tyler Hero at 77. No. Garland at 75. Maybe Garland. Kyrie at 50. Jaren Jackson at 74. Ja at 50. Booker. Siakam. So maybe with the way Siakam just played in that last game, Siakam's one of the guys that we can make a case for All-NBA. But to be honest, yeah, outside of Duran, I guess if you just want to get feisty and think that would continue to age well, and it seems like that Pistons team has a lot of upside, even more into next season. But basically, it just goes down to Sengun and James Harden for that last spot. So I guess the Rockets not having an All-NBA player is kind of crazy, but both got eliminated earlier on in the playoffs anyway. So again, not to say that that affects the regular season, but it does definitely translate a little bit over. So I think third team, again, is pretty much very right. I guess for the Eastern Conference, if we looked at the Eastern Conference, of course, Orlando is basically the only team here. Orlando. So yeah, the top 6 all got guys in the All-NBA with Mitchell and Mobley, Tatum, Brunson, Halliburton, Giannis, Cade. And then for the West, you've got Shea and Jalen. You've got LeBron and Luka. Or you've got LeBron, I guess. Luka not qualifying. You've got LeBron. You've got Jokic. You've got Harden. And then you've got Ant, Steph. And, yeah. So, I guess Sengun is kind of crazy. They probably could have gone Sengun over Harden. But, again, 2 games and Harden, with the way the Clippers were looking at the end of the year, they looked like the more dangerous team. And Harden, as the historic guy, does also maybe get a benefit of the doubt in the regular season in that way as well, too. Auckland Tatura, chat, they've got this down to 3 points at the end of the first. Oh, what did happen? Wait, did they just run it out? Did they foul? What just happened? Oh, shot clock malfunction. I was like, he just stopped dribbling with 16 seconds left in the first quarter. Why would you just waste a possession there? Like, down 3 is good enough. We're trying to tank, so we don't actually want to win this game. That would be aggressive tanking by the Auckland Tatura, who is the first pick in their potential draft as well. I mean, could we get... I feel like there could be a guy that just made an impact in this tournament that is set to be impacting the Auckland Tatura in a little bit. Chat, maybe it's already happening right now, and I'm just not looking at the name. But... yeah, I would say Sven Goon not being on is kind of tough for the Rockets. And let's go Jalen Williams numbers real quick, because Jalen Williams, really great defensively, really key to everything that they do, and really key to their success if they're going to continue to make the push to be a finals winning team. 21-5-5, 48-36, 78% for the free throw line, 79% for the free throw line. So those are pretty great numbers for the regular season to be in that third-team All-NBA mix. That 21-a-game threshold, basically pretty efficient, and like we're saying, with the defensive impact as well, too. It definitely makes him a great go-to player. Sven Goon, though, 19-10-5, 49.6% of the field, 23% from 3, 50% effective field, but 21.4 on the PER, chat. The PER, our guy Sven Goon winning in the PER, always very important. 21 a game last year. And he was 53% from the field last year as well, too. So if he's back to 50% from the field, I think he is, of course, in All-NBA territory. And I guess the Grizzlies not having an All-NBA guy as well could be a conversation if we were given the retroactive sort of look at it. But, yeah, I guess Jaren Jackson didn't make it on. So them not having one as well either. If you just have to go, I guess if you go one guy from each of the top 6, you're at 12 of the 15. You're gonna have a random. So who are the guys from the non-top 6 teams this year, chat? Let's remember here real quick. I guess it would be. Is it everybody from the top 6? Is it just Jokic? Just Jokic, and just the best player in the league supposedly is the one that didn't have the team success this year in the regular season to match it. But let me go back and see here. So, yeah, we got Mitchell, Tatum, Brunson, Halliburton, chat, Giannis, Cade. So there's 6. OKC, not Houston, LeBron, Jokic, Harden, and Anthony Edwards, and Steph. So they basically made... oh, and Grizzlies were the 8 seed. That's right. They did fall off. They weren't not a a play-in team or whatever, but I thought maybe they had dropped a little bit less than that. But the 8 seed is tough, chat. 48-34, down there due to some tiebreaker situations as well too. You can see, but you can see them not being necessarily, unfortunately, a long-term survival vital type team. But yeah, you've got the Rockets at 52 wins in the 2 seed as basically the only top 6 team without representation. Hey, yo. And then nobody from any of these random teams making a push, just the doubling up from the other teams, is good as well, too. So, continuing to reward the good, steady teams. The Rockets are basically one of the most balanced teams in this mix as well, too. So it makes sense that they wouldn't have one individual All-NBA player in the same way. But it is still just an interesting team construction thing as well, too, for trying to figure out how these teams can actually break through and win the title. Because it seems like they're, again, regardless of tonight's game, chat, seems like they're right there on the doorstep, of course, of finishing these teams off and actually just winning the finals. But Orlando and Atlanta both at 40 wins as well, too, in their conferences as the 7 and 8 seed in the play-in mix, and Franz play-in game could be pretty deadly as well, too. We've seen it in the past. Memphis Grizzlies at 48, and then Sacramento at 40 kind of falls off in the Western Conference as well, too, chat. But, yeah, shout out for Jalen Williams making on his first All-NBA. Is kind of crazy. He's actually got to that recognition again, top 15, kind of like how we were like, Shea is actually the MVP, quote unquote, best player in the league. Like Jalen Williams, one of the 15 best players in the league, is another one of those guys that, you're just like, you like a guy in the draft chat and you're like, I know that there is a versatility and a special spot for his role. And then they just continue to ascend levels and you're like, well, this is a different, do I even know you, chat? This is a different player, Jalen Williams, 20 a game, making all NBAs. What's happening here? But yeah, the Cade, like we're saying, the Cade, Halliburton picks both age beautifully. And it's not like you would have had Randall on All NBA in the regular season this year. He had a good playoff series against the Warriors, but it's not like he's had a brilliant playoff series in this matchup as well too, against OKC from start to finish. So he is a interesting one that you could, you're not necessarily making a case for, but just thinking of the other top teams that could have been left out as well. I guess we didn't even check his games played here as well too. But yeah, Halliburton, Brunson, Curry. So Duren is, so I guess we go all NBA watch list for next year. Again, we don't necessarily have odds for this on FanDuel. FanDuel, give us odds on whether or not a guy will make an all NBA team. You can do just a general all NBA team. Of course, a guy like Jokic is going to be, I don't know how you factor in the injury. I guess the same way you do for the MVP. But if he's 8-1 as an MVP favorite or whatever, I guess here, well, do we have MVP odds already, chat? The season's not even over yet, but enough guys are eliminated. We can start, enough guys are in the offseason, right? We can start thinking offseason odds for some of these teams. I mean, the Spurs are already thinking offseason. We're thinking Dylan Harper or Giannis, chat. We're sitting around figuring out who to swipe on right now. We can't even figure it out. We've got so many stars potentially trying to join our team right now. But 2025, 2026 odds, just to gauge and see if they have anything. I'm assuming they're probably just focusing odds on the draft as well too. NBA Finals, yeah, chat. They're not going that crazy yet. But yeah, Jokic could just be like minus 1,000 to make all NBA, any of the teams, but then plus 175 to make first team all NBA, which would be crazy going into the season, like plus 175. But still, it is kind of, obviously that much of a guarantee if he is playing. But yeah, if we were going to just take a look and say from this year, who is right on the edge, who could take a step up, obviously, let's get our list pulled back here up, because Sengun is another young guy. Rockets taking a step forward. I guess the thing with Sengun would be, could he get traded? And could he, what are we looking at? Garland and Siakam? This is not the right list, chat. This is the season list. And was it Sengun's stats? I don't remember. But regardless, I guess we got PER up here on this one. So, Sabonis, 29 next year. I guess Sacramento, you never know. Sabonis could have the double-double and make a All-NBA as well, too. Zubats, of course. The problem is the Clippers, are they trending forward or backwards? But could Zubats take a bigger role on the team? Could Zubats, Norm Powell, some of those guys, again, are they going to be as competitive a title team next year as we thought? But could Zubats get to 20 a game? What was he at for scoring this year? I think, what is it, like 17 and 12 this year per game? And he's 32 minutes a game. He's only been, 25-ish minutes a game the last handful of minutes this year. So if we round up just a little bit per 36, that puts him at 18 and 14. So 12 shots a game. He's taken 3 free throw attempts as well, too, at 66%. And 62% of the field is pretty good. But yeah, he could be a 20 and 12 guy next year as well, too, making that third team All-NBA case again for sure. So he, at the peak of his powers, has to be... he's on the watch list, chat. Ayo, what are we talking about first? We're talking about All-NBA. Is he going to be competing for that All-NBA spot? I guess, yeah, Davis as well with Cooper Flag. Just Cooper Flag and the Mavs players in general are going to be interesting to think about. Luka, fully healthy, of course. Wemby, fully healthy. So could first team All-NBA be totally different next year? Wemby, Luka, Jimmy Butler's probably not going to be first team, I guess. So I guess those are the two bigger omission names. Of course, Tatum won't be on All-NBA next year, so I guess there is a vacancy on first team just in general. So Tatum has had that spot on lockdown. And to be honest, again, we kind of assumed that he would have had that spot on lock anyways. I guess if you would have just asked me going into the playoffs next year, All-NBA, I would have probably have said Jokic and Giannis, lock them in. Shea, you kind of, I don't know if you can lock him in for first team All-NBA because the Thunder are going to get too good as well, too, and it's going to start pricing Shea out for some of the award stuff. Like, this is the first Shea gets to get recognized in a solo way before maybe the team recognition starts taking over. Then, like, Durant makes first team second team All-NBA that one year. You know, Shea makes second team in a couple of years as well, too. But let's put Giannis and Jokic on first team for next year. Then after that, you know, Cade is a definite, could take a step up to first team. I mean, Halliburton at this point could go up to first team as well, too. I don't know if Jalen Williams is a first team All-NBA guy. Like it was Shea. Maybe Chet at first team. Like, yeah, Shea and Chet is a definite if there's going to be two first team All-NBAers from the same team. That would be the better, to me, the more likely combination than Shea and J-Dub. I guess Mobley for first team as well, too, if the Cavs make some feisty trade and Mobley gets a step up. But Brunson for first team, could Brunson officially step up into a first team All-NBA role? But I could see it being Cade, Chad. I know first to third team it is an aggressive jump, and him making that leap over Edwards right away would be kind of a nasty move by our guy Cade. But I could see it. I guess, again, Edwards just going to first team could happen as well, too. So it could be Jokic. It could be these three guys and Edwards and Cade. Or those three guys and Edwards and Brunson as well, too. But then there's going to be vacancies for third. Like, is Karl Towns going to be a third-team All-NBA guy next year? He could have a great season. But he's gonna, I guess Harden as well, too, is probably not going to be third-team All-NBA. So Harden's going to be available. I'm going to say, as good as Jalen Williams is, the Thunder winning 68 games really did help him out as well, too. Like, I don't think this was the best version of a Jalen Williams third or fourth season that we could have got as well. And he's been impactful in the playoffs, too. I'm just saying I think there's even more upside there. So it's like, yeah, his potential to continue to get better, of course, puts him in the mix for All-NBA as well, too, going forward. But I think that maybe we could see, again, a new guy jumping up into the mix as well, too. Like Cooper Flagg at 26-4 next year, or Jalen Williams at, again, the 21-5-5. Like Cooper Flagg might just get the nod because it's, you know, hey, yo, but Cooper Flagg. But yeah, you'll have Harden. So we know, I'm going to say at least Harden and Tatum for sure, obviously not on All-NBA next year. So 2 spots available. We're going to say that LeBron is not All-NBA due to games played. He's going to play probably 55 to 60 games next year. Maybe he gets right to the 65-game mark. I could see him getting right to 65 games, but I do think, I'm not trying to not get him out of the conversation, but I think that 55 to 60 mark would be perfect, setting himself up for playoff success, and could, again, it would open up another spot for the All-NBA. Finally, chat, another All-NBA spot opened up, but Steph as well, too, is another interesting one for could he be, and I guess Mobley, I would expect him as well, too, to continue to make some All-NBAs, but again, just the streak the year after year, it's not every player that you're going to lock into to do that. But yeah, just real quick, I guess, initial All-NBA look-ahead stuff before we take off here, chat, would be, yeah, Luka and Wemby, easy money look-ahead guys. Duren, like we said, Sven Guden this year as a potential, I guess Cade is a mover. Franz as well, too. Franz, I guess Paolo. Yeah, of course, we have to put Paolo on the watch list. Paolo played only 46 games this year. Paolo definitely would have been All-NBA if he had played this year. You would have assumed with the way that the Magic, the Magic, of course, up and down throughout the course of the season. But with the way Paolo was just carrying stuff for the Magic as well, too, his offensive responsibility through 46 games, like, I guess his VORP's not going to be super crazy high, chat. But he could be a crazy VORP guy next year. I could see that. Win shares per 48, maybe. I don't know if that's going to benefit him as well either. That puts Duren up to a top 6 player in the league. So this, again, could be a fun, like, Duren could be like 7-1 to make second team All-NBA next year. Like, that's a fun bet, chat. Imagine the Jalen Duren second team All-NBA bet. You're just going to have a fun time watching the Pistons if they're good next year. Cade first team, Duren second team. parlay those together, it's like 25-30 to 1. Who knows? But yeah, let's go actually just a quick VORP sort. The VORP sort, chat? Hey, yo. Edwards, Harden, Sabonis. Yeah, Harden, chat. Very valuable, of course, for the Clippers this year. Jared Allen. Derek White, is he going to make All-NBA next year with Tatum being out? And I guess with Tatum being out, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Celtics players are out, because Jaylen Brown could be back on All-NBA next year. The Celtics could win 45 to 48 games. Him and Pritchard could both score 20 points a game. Derek White. I mean, Derek White, Pritchard, if they bring back Porzingis for one more year, trade Drew Holiday, they could have 4 20-point a game scores between White, Porzingis, and Jaylen Brown, and then whatever pieces they get from the Drew Holiday trade. Baylor Shireman off the bench. Like, they could win 48 to 45 games, and Jaylen Brown at 25 points a game, 45% from the field, and some positive storylines could definitely be a third-team All-NBA guy next year. You could definitely see it as well, too, just him being back in the mix, seeing as how he already has those storylines. I guess Amen Thompson on the watch list. Is Hero on the list? Hero is close. Hero is close. I don't know if... I would assume he gets better, but again, is he going to get better at the same rate as some of these other players are getting better? Where is he going to be top 15 player in the league better next year? Like, Amen Thompson couldn't be... He could still not be a top 15 player in the league next year. That would not be surprising. Again, we still have Sengun as well, too, on the watch list for Houston guys at this point. But if Amen Thompson is playing next to Kevin Durant next year in Houston, who knows? Maybe Amen Thompson is like a sneaky third-team All-NBA guy as well, too. Desmond Bane. Bam? Yeah, I mean, Bam's always got to be there. I mean, Franz, like we said, him and Paolo. Both. Reeves? Sneaky third-team All-NBA. Jaren Jackson, Scotty Barnes. Okay, it could really get stacked, chat. We could really go. So you're going to have Maxey back as well, too. Maxey only 52 games played this year. LaMelo Ball, he's always a threat to be on third-team All-NBA. Trae Young, if the Hawks win some games, if they really start to figure out this wing stuff around Trae Young. Christian Braun's highlighted for some reason, chat. Hey, yo. Christian Braun. Third-team All-NBA is... Are we trying to... Are we, telling ourselves something from the future? We know that Christian Braun makes third-team All-NBA next year. IT, bet it! Bet it. Is that our last piece of advice for tonight, chat? Bet Christian Braun, third-team All-NBA, if you can find it on one of the sports books somewhere. But yeah, chat, what a game. What a game. Minnesota really taking care of business. 143 to 101. We mentioned the stats as well, too. Not much changed after that as the dominance continues. Just Terrence Shannon with 15. Luka Garza, 7. Not bad. Leonard Miller with 11. Leonard Miller is an interesting... I mean, the Timberwolves bench is interesting next year. Leonard Miller, Rob Dillingham, Terrence Shannon. If they still have Naz Reid and DiVincenzo as well, too. But they're not going to have Conley next year, probably. So, if you got Leonard Minoit, Naz Reid, Jalen Clark, Terrence Shannon, Dillingham... Like, that's a fun, 6 to 7 guys that you at least are messing around with in camp, and then pause. And then, try and the different lineup versatility stuff throughout the regular season just to see what kind of sticks and what works. But that's crazy, chat. 42 points is crazy diabolical work by the Timberwolves. So shout out to them. Shout out to Anthony Edwards for his 30-point performance again in the playoffs as well, too. Randall with 24 and 4. McDaniels with 10. Who do we got here? Nikhil Alexander-Walker with 12. Terrence Shannon with 15 as well, too. So, there we go, chat. We'll be back. The playoffs roll on. So does the REMINGTOM pod. Live, following all the games, having a good time, reacting, hanging out, and, just having a blast with you guys. Ayo, pause. But it's a good time every time, chat. So, be sure to at least, check in every now and then. If you want to subscribe to make it easy for yourself to check in, then there you go. But it's all about you, chat. It's all about you, of course. If you want to subscribe, it's there. If you want to just, every now and then, the algorithm, you don't even need to subscribe. It'll just recommend you the videos. If you need to just get a recommended video every now and then and click on it and hang out and have a good time, then hey, what's up? We appreciate that for you, from you for as well, too. For as long as you guys want to hang out and watch that. But, yeah, we'll be back. More playoff games happening this weekend. More stuff to have on out in the background along with it as well too. And you can catch this one up on the podcast feeds in a little bit. You can follow us and message us, of course, at RemingTonm Pod on Instagram as well too. The DMs are always open over there. So, yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us, and have a good night. We'll be back.